Happy Friday. Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome in. Hello. Apparently my model is not being picked up. It said no. What the heck? I'm invisible. What happened? Hold on. Why is it? What happened to me? What happened to me? Where'd I go? Hold on. I gotta restart VTube Studio. Apparently they don't want to show me. Josie took my fucking cloaking device. What the fuck?
That's no good.
That's no good. What happened? That's crazy. Hold on. Whoa. Okay, there we go. Okay, so it's showing there. Okay, so it exists. Ah! Where is my thing? Ah! Great. Oh my lord. This is crazy. Okay, so it is working. It is working. Okay, hold on. It should work now. That's crazy. This is what happens, man. This is what happens, bro. Incognito mode engaged. True. You don't even like stealth builds. I know. I don't know, man. This is what happens when you update shit. Haha. See, I don't know. That was weird. Hello. That was just a test. Josie Doko. I don't know what the heck that. I don't know what that was about. This is what happens when you update anything. What's funny is because the Oblivion update is technically done. It's just the patching. It's just patching. It's literally like the download is done. It's just taking 50 years to patch. So, yeah. Yeah, imagine an 8-year-old battleship has better stealth than a designated. Hey, I don't know about that. Now. That's I think that's just called a technical skill issue for my my Steam. But for real, okay. So I was talking about it in chat pre-stream. Literally, I'm 1000% positive that I have auto updates set up for my Steam account. And it should have updated. But it didn't. It's not cops. I've told you guys. It's a hospital. It isn't. I've told you guys before. They're not cops. I literally I don't know why. It seems very common. There's what do you call ambulances? I trust it. It's hospital. I didn't kill anybody. I promise. No. Okay, are the ambulances arresting you? I didn't know ambulances could arrest people. Damn, that's crazy. They must be updating their credentials. My auto updates are set between 5 and 12 a.m. as in the times my laptop does. See, I literally just have it to go. When there is an update, it does the update. But it's it queues my updates, but then it just sits there. It's I don't even know, man. I don't even know. But it's fine. We have the update going. It says it's going to take I don't know, 15, 17 minutes. But shit, we fucking yap for an hour half the time anyway. So it's fine. It's fine. But how are we doing? Happy Friday. It's finally fucking Friday. For those who work on the weekends, I'm sorry. But welcome in. Happy Friday. If you guys didn't see, I'm dying. If you guys didn't see, VFleet made a fancy schmancy super big important announcement on their Twitter before stream. If you didn't see it, you should go look at it. We have a new family member. Go show him love. Go give him a follow. Do it. Please. How does it feel to have I see. Okay, I will say, I will not be calling him a little brother. I will not be calling him a little brother. Just as Adrian would prefer it to not be considered that, I will continue the same with Tony. I don't think any guy prefers to be considered as a little brother, unless that's genuinely what you are. But he is a brother, and we're excited. We're excited. We're very excited. We can't wait to show y'all. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. He's a bro. Yeah. You know, it's like trust me. He's dope. He's dope. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. But I am good. For those who ask, how is you? I is good. I is good. I is good. Well, yeah, but I know Eve's coming back. But we're talking about Tony. But Tony! Yes, we are very excited for all news. Yes. We are very excited for Tony to be joining, so definitely go give him a follow. Yeah. Oh shit, his design's yeah. Oh no, he's handsome. Yeah. Oh shit, his design's so good. Yeah, it's good. New VFleet Pro Tag. Well, I mean, technically we're all Pro Tags, but yeah, he's our brother. And say Tony the Tiger. Time to support the new Oshi. I'm out of here. Later, suckers. I murder you. I'm just kidding. Everybody should be Oshi. Nah, it's okay. It's okay. Tony's great. Tony's great. He's honestly great. You're gonna love him. You're gonna love him. Lucy's girlfriend is coming back. Oh my lord. Lucy, just love on Lucy. Just don't make it weird. Just be excited that Eve's coming back. Don't make it weird. Y'all are all pro tags on though. Yes, we are all pro tag. Every time, I don't know why, for some reason my brain, when people say pro tag, I don't know why my brain says mpreg. I don't know why. I think I've been hanging out with CV too much. I think I've been hanging with CV too much. My brain has been converted. I don't know. Ignore me. I don't know. I know. Blame CV. Blame CV. Because I don't say these words. I don't say those words. But Adrian drafted Tony because he needed a War Thunder wingman. I don't know. That I don't know. CV is rubbing off on you. No, I'm just the NPC that happens to be in almost every stream from every VFleet girl. Hey, that's it. Chad is the what is it? The protagonist POV, because y'all are just everywhere, anywhere and everywhere at all times. Ignore the giant battleship on my screen. Brilliant plan. Yeah. Streamer is deflecting blame. What do you mean? I'm never to blame. What do you mean? I'm never to blame. It's streamer logic. We're never to blame. What are you talking about? It's always chat's fault. You didn't know that? It's always chat's fault. Keep your wholesome mindset. It is wholesome. Hello, Bulldozer. Welcome in. Nice to see you. Happy Friday. See, I told you guys, I'm like wholesome chaotic. I still have chaotic moments, but I will always try to say derpy goofy goober. Yeah. Considering my username, it's kind of my job to keep tabs on everyone. Yeah. True. Not as bad as another VTuber I watched. You literally created several mpreg. I mean, a lot of people are all about it. So I mean, hey, teach his own. Teach his own. Gaslight, gatekeep, mpreg. That's so good. That's so good. I want to get a sign like those live, laugh, love things and gift that to CV. I want to gift that to her. Chat is a reflection of the streamer. True. That is true. I try to mold you all to stay not because I am very much against echo chambers, but I try to keep it into like a safe bubble, if you will, of, you know, neutral. And then see I say this and then you drop kick me. You know what? Never mind. Never mind. What am I saying? I like talking about how I'm trying to mold chat and they troll me. I see how it is. I hate you. Don't anyone clip that, I swear to God. don't. Just don't. Chaotic neutral battleship. True. Right. I can use those emails. Oh no, molded to like, if anything, it's like I want things to be just be cool, man. Just be cool. Just be cool, man. Be cool with a little bit of chaos, swirled in there. That's no good. It is no good. She's molding us to an inner vision. You'll be the perfect chat. Don't worry. Just listen to what I say. Do as I say and you'll be perfect. No, I'm just kidding. Ain't nobody perfect, not even me. You just gotta be open-minded and agree to disagree. Exactly. Yeah. At the end of the day, I don't want nobody to feel some kind of way. I want, like, I'm never gonna be like, I want my stream to be a safe place in the sense of, like, like, a lot of people who say that don't mean that. But a lot of people who say that do mean it. But I would prefer to prove it with my actions. You know what I mean? It's like, I will state what I am looking for in an environment, and I hope that you will respect that. Because I want it to be cool for everybody, I don't want anybody to feel awkward or weird. But then again, I, can be a little awkward and weird sometimes, I guess. Chaotic moments happen whenever Ryan Szymanski isn't at the New Jersey. When Dad leaves, that's when all hell breaks loose. True. Gen Z, yet a lot of people describe me as having an old soul, and it's kind of true. I don't use social media and refuse to use Zoomer speech. I mean, okay, I'm also of the mentality that, like, what is the saying, like, doth protest too much? Or it's like, if I feel the need to explain to somebody, I'm not like this, see, I don't do this. Most times you probably are. It's like, I mean, it is what it is. There's nothing wrong with being a particular part of your gen. Just act normal. But then again, I guess normal is very hit or miss these days. I never really know what's considered normal anymore. I don't know. Say I don't agree to that. Well, too bad. You act like you had a choice. Too bad. So what I'm hearing is we are being molded and trained for the glue factory. I mean, if you want to work at the glue factory, yes. I will not turn you into glue, as that's, a process that is outdated now. I don't even remember what product they use anymore for actual glue. But it ain't no horsies. People don't realize Gen Z is older than millennials, and it shouldn't make sense. I don't know about that now. I have seen some very concerning Gen Zers. I feel like the mentality that people should go about is that you can't generalize a generation. You can't generalize a generation because a generation is never going to be general. There's literally always going to be pockets of people who are different in regards to mental maturity and all that jazz. So it's like, you can't really say all of Gen Z is this or Gen Z is that or millennials are this or millennials are that, because it's like, I'm pretty sure I've met some boomers that act more cringe than half the Gen Z people I meet. And millennials that act more immature than Gen Zers, and Gen Zers that act, it's like, you never know. Gen Z can be a little Gen Z, but not all of them are. A lot are, but not all of them. And some of us here cough are old enough to be put out to pasture. No, I hate my generation. No. So, like, people are individuals or something. Like, what? People can be individuals? I don't know about that. That sounds too forward thinking of you, young one. Sorry, that's just too funny. But no, I agree. I do agree. I'm of the same mentality. Because I always grew up to be, I got the same talk where my grandparents were like, oh, you're so mature for your age. But yet everyone in my age group thought I was weird. And then people who are older than me thought I was still, like, it's just like every generation will think you're whatever, everyone's gonna think something. Everybody, it's like the song Everybody Talks, except it's everybody thinks. Understood. Adding another person to the list. Don't become glue. I still have projects for you. I still have things for you to do. Don't mention pineapple on pizza. Everyone gets crazy. I just don't care for pineapple on pizza, but I don't care either way. I've never understood the hatred for that. Like, I don't even know where that originated. Like, to each his own, but like, do I want that on my pizza? No. But I don't care. If you like to burn your intestines with acidic whatevers from pineapples and slowly killing yourself, sure. Have at it. You know? Are we talking near 30? If so, I'm gonna need Josie to fire me out of the main battery. God damn. Oh, that is what a lot of people on the internet seem to think. That once you hit 30, that it's like, all right, go bury yourself, grandpa. It's time to die. Time to get your will and testament ready to go. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Little do they know, there's still, for most people, there's still 70 to 80 years left on life. Like, depending on your health, of course. But still, little do they know, you're only at the quarter of your life most times. I love doing subgroups of generations. There is one for Gen X nicknamed the Oregon Trail. So you're basically thinking like subgroups as in like different kind of like well-known pop culture references that particular generation was probably associated with. Probably. For me, it's a texture issue. Yeah, I could see that. Like, I like eating pineapple, but yeah, I could see like the texture being really off-putting in like a pizza situation. I love sour food, so yes, please. I do like sour, so I can't disagree with you. But I'm a basic bitch. I love basic baby pizza. I just love normal pizza. So if I can actually get the standee of you from Kawa before next month, I'm going to try and take it to the New Jersey. I'll be sure to take pictures of it if it actually happens. I hope so too. I know they're behind on stuff and working on stuff, but I'm crossing my fingers. I'm like, please, please. I will cross my fingers for you. That's so cool. I hope so. Thank you for thinking of me, Bulldozer, and bringing me back home in acrylic form. Josie, it originated from Canada, did it? Shit, I didn't know that, because I just, everyone always has this argument and I'm like, where did that even fucking start? Like, who even started this shenanigans? I've seen Dutch people put ketchup on their pizza, so pineapple, well, but I mean, ketchup wouldn't surprise me, because I mean, granted, it's sugar tomatoes, but I mean, tomatoes are part of, you know, what is on a pizza, so that doesn't surprise me too much. It's just sweeter a little bit, but yeah. 28 years old, I've lived a long life. It's like, all right, grandpa, time to put you back to bed. God damn. My parents are Gen X and they refer to themselves as the silent generation, as in they didn't really do much. That's funny. That's crazy. I mean, that's the thing, not every generation has to be like some big life-changing thing, right? Some people just want to exist, right? Half Dutch. We also put mayo. I put mayo on fries. I've always done that, but I was always told that was a very European thing, that putting mayonnaise on like different things on a regular basis, like how Americans put ketchup on everything. They're like, oh, that's very European of you. I'm like, is it? I don't know. I just always grew up with having access to mayonnaise, and it was a pretty common condiment that I had growing up, so I don't know. I like mayonnaise. It's very good. Microgeneration seems to be the term. Margarita pizza. Yeah. I'm not complaining about the mayo on fries. That's the best thing I've heard. It is. It's so good. Josie merch. I hopefully buy is coming with me if and when I can see the New Jersey. Yeah, let's go. Constantly take me to see Ryan. They stole my plan. I'm intending on bringing your standee to the ship. Do it, everyone take me to the New Jersey. Make Ryan feel so confused and just be like, oh, I see. Are you here with that VTuber girl? Bring me to the New Jersey so many times that Ryan Zemansky gets, used to seeing it. Then he'll want one. So do it. Make it normal. Make it normal. Oh my god, I'm wanting to do it with not only the standee but my 3 Azure Lane New Jersey plushies. Hopefully a steal Ah, I steal piece of USS Texas. Yeehaw! Oregon Trail reference, the old computer game. Yes. Yes, Oregon Trail is fun. Growing up before and during the internet before it became a wider available thing. Yes. Yes. The ancient tomes spoke of oh, what was it? Because you died of dysentery, right? The ancient tomes spoke of the dysentery, the almighty dysentery. I said, there's only two things I can't stand: people who are intolerant of other people's cultures and the Dutch. God damn, what did the Dutch do to you? Sheesh. I wanted to get steel from North Carolina that had BB-55, but they didn't have it, so I went and bought some of the teak. We love teak. We love teak. That's looking agile. Yay, we only have like 2 minutes left supposedly on the patch, but that's fine. Agile, agile. Oh no, I'm an agile, but for legal reasons. That was a joke. All good, all good, all good. As every Dutch person's like, I'll remember that. We shall remember this. I've never thought to try it, but might as well. Yeah, those are very valid things to hate. The Americans that say that is very European of you. They're just condescending something that they don't know it's normal. Well, no, apparently no. It was actually a friend of mine who, well, I say like family, but it was like part of my family that is, they're American, but they're not like, you know, I'm trying to how to word this right, but yeah, apparently they have traveled there, and they were like saying it was they've traveled. They're well-traveled individuals, and apparently it's pretty common. But I don't know. I don't know if that's actually true. But I mean, I'm gonna take their word for it, since you know they're more traveled than me. So I don't know. But I don't know. I don't know. Unless there's someone in chat who is obviously more European than I, who maybe could advise better on that, but I don't know. Let's see. I actually have that exact piece. I got it when meeting up with a friend in North Carolina. Nice! What are they gonna do? Build more windmills to spite me? I mean, they could. Just wait. There's gonna be a Final Destination movie where it's gonna be a death by windmill, and then you're gonna regret ever saying that, because then, you know, you just gave them a smarter way to kill you with windmills. Okay, I think the patch is done. I'm gonna pause this. Watching. Remove spice privileges and cheese. Wait, what? Cheese? I like cheese. Oh, I see. Remove spice privileges and I love cheese. That's so. A lot of my family's from Wisconsin, so I'll import from Wisconsin. Speaking of, Baron, a lot of my family, well, most, I don't know if they're, a lot of my older family, like great grandparents and the like, lived up in Wisconsin. So we used to get summer sausage and Wisconsin cheeses all the time growing up. So yeah, I'm a big, don't you know, I love cheese. I love cheese and sausages. Cheese and sausages, all that. It's all good. It's all good. So yeah, true. We do have at least Wisconsin cheese. We do have that. It's very good. Believe me, I've been accused of being the where it originated, or I see where it originated from. So I've been forced to research it. It was a Greek-born Canadian who made it back in 1962. I see. What is this, Don Quixote? What the fuck? Also, I got a new welding teacher last week, and I noticed he was a former airborne on Wednesday. Hey, yo, that's dope. That's so cool. The same teacher gave me his jump wings and air assault wings, telling me he knew I'd take good care of him. Aw, that's so wholesome. That's so sweet. I'm really glad you were able to kind of make that bond. That's so cool. Very often lately, I've been hearing people have like bad experiences with teachers and professors and stuff. So I'm glad that you had a good experience. I'm glad that you met a good one, a really cool one. That's so cool. And see, I also know where to acquire Dutch trams. Hey, yo. What about beer, though? Beer's great. Beer's good. Beer is good. I do like beer. Yes. Depends on which kind, but yes, I like beer. And so that includes Gouda cheese. Yes, cheese is Gouda. It is Gouda. Greeks being unbased for once, brother. Oh my god. That's crazy. Okay, but I think the patch is done. I think. We're gonna find out. We're gonna turn the music down a little bit just in case. Oh no, baby. Sending me a Miller Lite. Miller Lite? Why are you sending me that? Why are you sending me that piss water? Why are you sending me that piss water? I don't want Miller Lite, bro. At least send me good beer. I'm just kidding. Oh, man. I talk a lot of shit about Miller Lite, PBR, and Bud Light. Basically anything that has light. Anything that has L-I-T-E or L-I-G-H-T in the name of the beer. I'm like, what is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? It's like they wanted essence of beer and diluted it with like 90% water. It's like, what is this? Water and carbonate and sparkling water for the carbonation essence. It's so sad. I was like, man, you chose such a weak baby beer. For not you as in chat, but like for the people who made that beer. I was like, bruh, you could have chosen better. Message to talents with the pictures. Yeah, when you have time to check it out, I will definitely, after share, I will definitely check it out. Thank you, Bulldozer. I appreciate that. Say it pays to volunteer at museums, especially when it means you've worked on old trams, including some that are about 90 years old. Shit, those things are older than me. The patch is done. Second time she said it. It's true. The patch is done. The patch is done. The patch is done. The patch is done. How many times is that? I don't know. Hope your day's good. How goes the stream? Hello, Lord Right Now. We're doing pretty good so far. I am waiting for my game to open because we had to finish. There was a lovely little update for Oblivion that did not unfortunately push through, but it should be good now. I'm just waiting for it to think, you know, because it takes a minute. And I'm gonna be lagging a little bit. I'm gonna be lagging a little bit because of course the game is opening. You're gonna get some lag here for a sec. Just be patient. Just be patient. This is why I do this before stream. Normally. Let's see. How about Budweiser? It's okay. I can't be too harsh on Budweiser because I lived near, well, I say I lived near where they made it. So, you know. Yeah, no. I can't really talk a whole lot of smack about it. There we go. Because these big ass games have like 1,000. There we go. There we go. Yeah. They have like 8 million, 1,000 trillion different shaders and stuff that they have to load in. So it takes a minute. But luckily I have a PC that can run it. Okay. Let's switch over to gaming screen. And let me get tiny because I'm gonna have to bring it up. I don't think the patch is actually done. It is done. Ah! How do you feel about Blue Moon? Blue Moon is okay. And yeah, Jersey. Oh my god, the cat. The cat is out of the bag. Steinlager's good. I'm fine with Blue Moon. Because Blue Moons are more like lagers, and those are fine. I actually was more of a, humorously, I like Mexican beers. Like really, really. Like, I love me some Mexican beers, bro. They're so good. They're so good. Like Corona, Modelo, Tecate, Dos Equis. Dos Equis was like, bro, when you have fresh, I say fresh, like Dos Equis from like the tap, bruh, put a fucking lime in that thing and it's, it's so good. It's just so good. So good. So good. So good. Let's see if you can get some lime in there too. Yes, 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 yes. Just don't go for India. And thank you for gonna be on alert because I gotta lock in on some personal stuff. Have fun. No worries. And kill at least 5 creatures. I shall do so. We shall do so. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Let me get game mode. Let's see. Speaking of PCs, I'm planning on making my laptop into even more of a Frankenstein. God, your poor laptop. Your laptop's like, please stop, I'm already dead. Let's see, Oblivion. There we go. There we go. Perfect. And I'm gonna move you back over to the left, guys. Might as well. Where are you? You guys are down here. Let's put you over here. Let's put you over here. There we go. There you go. Perf. Okay, cool. Okay, I figured out I can get an external GPU connected to it, so I'm planning on getting 4060, which is much. Oh, I wish you luck. I wish you luck on that. I'm gonna throw shade at Europeans for a brief moment. So the whole meal with fries. Seriously, y'all conquered a majority of the world in the name of trading spices and never learned. Hey, mayonnaise is great. You just gotta put seasoning in the mayo, but it's really good. But there is one I must try for the memes. Cerveza Cristal. Oh Lord, it's 4 years old. It still has Yeah, it's got life. It's got life. It's got about as much life as the internet thinks 30-year-olds do. It's got about that much life in it. Let's see. Talking about the cursed alley being bald. Wait, what? Because that is indeed cursed. True. That was the British. The Dutch do seasoning things. They do season things. Talking about the project about padding VFleet. Why? It's not VFleet. It's not VFleet! I mean, it could be. For some it is. For some it is. Which seasoning? I got avocado mayo for sandwiches. Oh, yeah. Just get like paprika, put that in there. You can just normal do salt and pepper. But yeah, you can do some avocado mayo. Yeah. But I like fresh avocado. If I'm gonna have avocado for sandwiches, I like fresh avocado. It just tastes better. It tastes fresher. And thank you for Battleship Head Pets. I appreciate that. If I missed any other redeems, let me know. If I missed anything else, let me know. I don't think I did, but just double checking. I got beaten to the pat. Sad. Womp womp. I'm too far north for real avocado. Fair. See, I lived in, I was gonna say, I lived in Florida and then I moved to California. So I went from one place that had a fair, decent access to avocados to another place that has a fair, decent access to avocados. So yeah, I guess that's fair. I really don't live in a place that's struggling for access to avocados. She really is Californian. I've always liked it though. I've always liked avocados even before California. Well, actually, what's funny is I didn't actually for the longest time. I did not like avocados for a very long time. And then like a while ago, I was reintroduced to it and I was just like, oh, I'm so stupid. What was wrong with me? You're so dumb. And now I'm good. Now I love it. Let's see, my running list says no outstanding redeems. Sweet! Is pure and only the fresh avocados will do. True. Well, yeah, the minute they taste old, like the minute they're old and like brown, like that shit tastes ghastly. It tastes terrible. It tastes so bad. Like I would eat them if they didn't taste like dog shit, you know? It is a long journey, but the destination shall be worth it. It is true. 'Tis true. Hello, Cyrus. Can I go in here? Am I allowed to go in here? So it's been a minute since we played, but I do try to like keep these games in rotation because if I wait or if I wait, if I take too long and I don't play something for a while, I'm legit gonna, good morning, I'm gonna forget literally everything. And it's gonna be like starting the game all over again in my brain.
I haven't time to talk right now, I'm afraid, but I'm sure one of the other blades can help. Try speaking with Belisarius or Caroline.
Okay. Okay. There's... Oh, I thought that was a... I thought I was trying to acknowledge that there was a person here. And I was like, ghost person? Okay, so that's not a place I can go up. Are those blades? They are. Can I grab one? Bro, let me have one of these. What the heck? What waste? The waste of these blades to be for decoration. Let's see. First-hand experience. Bitter ballin and some potato food. Foods I forget the name of. Oh. That was the same. Usually gotta make do with guacamole. Just don't ask what dark magic makes it last longer. It's definitely like the seasoning, or not seasonings, but like the ingredients, the other ingredients that it's mixed with keeps it like preserved better. It like puts it in a sheath. Because she's oblivious to her own progression. Oh no. There's some lore. Don't worry about it. Yeah, don't worry about it. True. All right. So it's been a minute since we played. I miss doing the bloodsport. I miss bloodsport. I want to go back and fight and murder people. But we did need to do the actual story for a bit so we could progress, you know, and actually get the story moving along and get stronger so we could fight bloodsport better. The dark magic that makes it last longer is called avocado bone. Yeah. My favorite part. Oh, okay. Yeah. Textures.
There you are. We need to talk.
Of course. What troubles you?
Ooh.
I can't stop thinking about the Emperor.
Oh.
We failed because we got complacent.
Oh.
We got arrogant.
Oh.
Now the Empire.
I thought he was thinking about the Emperor in a different way. Never mind. I thought we were gonna get some crazy, like, you know, ancient time, you know, dude lore. Unfortunate. I thought we were getting yaoi lore, but no, I guess not. I guess not. Not in my game. What was our path? What were we doing? Quest. Jesse's bloodthirsty confirmed. Yes. What were we doing? What were we doing? Because we brought him here. We brought the dude here. We brought, what is the they were just friends with the Emperor. True. The, you know, what is that meme saying? It's like, and we will always say that they were best friends. Could be he might propose nighttime watches. It'll be another episode of Brokeback Mountain. Something kill dragons, probably. True. Because we brought what's his face up here, that one actor who plays the character here. I've heard rumors in Troll that has been seen, and he's acting strange whenever approached by someone from Troll. He seems to have no memory of them whatsoever, even if he's met them before. This seems strange enough to follow up on. I should go find blah blah blah. Okay, I don't think that's like a main path thing, because it's not gold. Joffrey wants me to contact Baurus at Luther Brage boarding house in the Imperial City. The enemy has the Amulet of Kings, and Baurus may have the lead we need to get it back. Okay, so I think we did finish part 1. Where's the Gray Prince one? Can I actually do that? Because I do remember I was advised about this. Can't procrastinate if there's nothing to push off. True. They were just friends. Could be. He might propose something. Another hand touches the beacon. Beacon's lit? Beacon's lit? The beacon, something about Gondor? Something about Gondor? The Lord of the Rings? I almost said League of Legends. Lord of the Legends. Let's see. I've recovered. Let's see. She's searching for a rare one. Shadow Banish. Where is the Imperial Arena? Has sent me on a quest to find proof of his noble birthright. I might journey now to the west to a place called Crowhaven. 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 Yeah, the beacons are lit. Gondor calls for aid. Yeah, there you go. Crowhaven. Where's Crowhaven? Where's Crowhaven? This map is so big. This map is so big. Like, holy moly. Oh, that's all the way over there. That's all the way over there. Ah. Oh my god. Why is it so far? Do I have anything that leads me here? Because I could do that. Horse Whisperer stables. Man, no. The Nyan curse should be weaker now. Let's go. Get this shit off my head. Blah. Actually, you know what? We're gonna wear this. There we go. That's better. I'll wear this for now. So you have my axe. Shoot. Trying to think. Pilgrimage. I mean, Path of the Dawn. It sounds like we just need to go to the Imperial City first, because that's down here. We could. Or we could just go all the way over here. We could just go all the way to Crowhaven. You know what? Fuck it. We're going to go all the way to Crowhaven. Screw it. Caw. Okay, it's going to be that way? Okay. That's so far. That's gonna be so far. That's okay. And of course we have like the slightly slow old nag. So it'll take us a minute, but at least the environment and the sounds are pretty. She says as her frames try to catch up. And apparently the loud car with his very loud whatever felt the need to say hello and say happy Friday. But speaking of Friday, what all do you guys have going on this weekend? Anything cool going on? Because I'm hoping
showing your face was the last mistake you'll ever make.
I was like, who the fuck? Who's saying words? Who's saying words? Come here, you. Come here. Oh, those frames.
You're pathetic.
Can you focus on me here?
Such violence.
Such violence.
Show me what you've got.
There's somebody else? What the hell? Why? Yeah, I gotta fix my armor, I know. Who else is here? Oh. Whatever. I was like, bro, you gotta help me. What the heck, man? What the heck, man? Work, unfortunately. I feel that. I'm not doing anything. Heading to my local museum ship. Let's go. How often do you go, middleman? Do you go fairly frequently? Or is that, just like coincidence? I do not need the iron mace. Public test for the next World of Warships update. Nice. Okay, we still gotta go this way. Can you go forward? Thank you. Literally every weekend. Oh, okay. Dope. Because I wasn't sure. Like, sometimes it just could have just been coincidence or, you know, because we do have quite a few. Okay, game. We have quite a few people who regularly volunteer and stuff at museum ships and the like. So I don't know if it was like a voluntold or volunteer by choice kind of thing, or going because you actually like it. Because if you go because you actually like it, then that's even doper, even cooler. Really wish you could edit chat messages to fix grammar errors. I know, right? Same. I feel that. Oh my god, my poor horse is like trying to go up. She's trying so hard. If the New Jersey wasn't about 2 hours away, I would probably visit every week or two. feels. Whoa. Okay, that looks pretty cool. That looks pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. Wow. Poggers. Fat finger. It happens. See, but at least I can watch your streams at work. Yeah, no, you're fine. I figured as much. I figured that's what you meant. Josie, you look pretty dope. Hey, no, you look pretty dope. No, you look pretty dope. Well, thank you. And thank you for the hydrate. Much appreciated. And I actually woke up, chat. I did not pass the fuck out. See what happens when I don't accidentally take a random nap at like 10, 11 a.m.? I think I'm making my horse, what is my... I'm kind of making my horse move unnaturally. But that's okay. It's okay. What are these over here? Stay here, horse. Ah! What the hell? Bruh. Can you... Ah! God damn it. Come here. Come here. Leave my horse alone. I'm sorry, horse. Can I feed it? Oh, can I feed it or something? Does it have... Hey, oh. Is there somebody else here? There's somebody else here. No. Okay. Can I feed this thing? Can I check its health? Does it have health? Also, I like how... Wait. The pay with your blood was you on. What the fuck? I thought it was in-game. I was looking around. Oh my God, I feel crazy. I feel insane. I was literally like, wait, what? I hate that I put that on here. I hate that I put that on there. Oh my God, screw this. Whatever. You can't feed, but there are spells to heal others. I see. Ah, there we go. I don't know what I can do with these, but I'm gonna take some of them. I'm sure it'll be beneficial somehow, some way, right? Let's see. Sacred Lotus. I'm sure that's useful for something. So serene. Can I take butterflies? Can you take butterflies? Sorry, I look like a child trying to get butterflies in a damn open world game. Got him. Yep, I did fall. Because I was like mid-fight trying to protect my horse, and then all of a sudden I hear, "You will fight with your blood," and I was like, "What? What did I do? What did I do now?" I'm like, I'm just defending my horse. What would you like me to do? I was gonna... Okay. I'm a game. Damn, they did so good, bro. It's so pretty. Frames be damned, but like, holy. They did really good. It just makes me want to go play Elden Ring again. Well, you know, whenever it's not like trying to scare the shit out of me with the eldritch horror stuff. This and the creeper jump scares when you play Minecraft, bro. That's what happens when I lock into a game. I'm so focused on the game that I just forget that I can get trolled. I forgore. Here, let me take a look at this real quick. What is this? Monk shoed. I don't know. It'll be good for something, I'm sure. That is no Uma. See, chat, right here. This is the true Uma Musume. This is the true Uma Musume. Not an idol, though. I'm sure we can teach her. I'm sure we could teach her, though. Don't think of it as trolling, just keeping you on your toes. That is true. That is what it is doing. It is keeping me on my toes. But could she win the URA final or finale? Probably. Probably. Oh, speaking of. So, okay, I don't know. For those who missed my Twitter posts, I'm dead ass certain. I'm literally, there's no doubting in my mind. My PC UMA account is literally cursed. It is absolutely cursed. And thank you for Battleship head pads. I literally got all of the best polls, like 3 SSRs in the same poll, along with the Kitas on Black in the same poll, and I can get to the freaking URA finale, all on my mobile account. But my PC account don't get shit. It doesn't get anything. I can't even do anything on that account. I don't understand what I did wrong. I don't understand. I don't get it. It don't make no sense. Hello. You're not gonna fight me, are you? Hi. Oh, okay. Hi. Oi. Oh. Oh.
It's true what everyone is saying. Kvatch is lost. The Daedra, they swarmed
The Daedra.
in. The town guard never had a chance.
Unfortunate.
Carry on.
Hold on, can you whip? Can you whip? Can you whip? Can you whip? Come back! Come back! I wanted to... Oh no. Why are they not synced, like the accounts? Because I had a lot of personal friends who wanted to play as well. So I had like a personal account on my phone. So that way we could like do that kind of thing. Oh, adorable knight. Yeah. I could be a knight. Curse of Hans be upon thee. It is. Maybe they detect that you reroll. But I didn't. I created like they're different things though. You want RNG manipulation? It's not though. It makes no sense. I'm pretty sure I made my PC account before I made my mobile account. So I'm like, that makes no sense. You would think it'd be the other way around. Or are you not playing the same account on both? Because friends. Because I wanted to have a personal account for friends and stuff. So that way we can play stuff together. Plus, you know, my mobile phone is, you know, more tied to like personal stuff. So I was trying to avoid any risk of any quote unquote, you know, doxing info. Also stretch. Oh, thank you. I missed that. Thank you, senpai. Thank you. God, I'm dying. I swear my account is cursed on polls, period. Same account on PC and mobile. Most of my support card pulls have been R and SR, Wit and Guts card. Haven't pulled any SSR UMAs other than Taiki. Oh no. Oh. Ah! Hello, goodbye. Run away. Ignore the creature that was trying to attack me while I'm trying to like chat with y'all. And all the SS cards I pull are either the worst cards or not the banner. Same. I feel that. I feel that. Why does it sound like there's an enemy? What? Oh, it's still trying for me? Okay. All right, come on. There. I don't know if I like this view better or if I like this view better. I don't know. I like more. Let's see, what are friends? They're great. You all have them. We all have them. Even if it's just one, it's the quality, not the quantity. But yeah, friends are great. Except for those loud cars. Those are not friends. That's junk. Let's see. First person view. More immersive. Third person view. Admire the drip. True. True. That's if I had good drip. Wait. I just realized I have no shoes! What happened to my shoes? Why am I barefoot? Wait a minute! Wait a minute! Why am I barefoot? What happened to my feet? What happened to my shoes? What happened to my shoes? What happened to my shoes? Hold on. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Where did my shoes go? Why am I not wearing the boots? What the fuck? I have been barefoot? Oh my god. How long have I been barefoot? How long have I been walking around barefoot like some weirdo? I literally had no shoes. I had no shoes. That's crazy. The VFleet can carry over even to Elder Scrolls. I didn't choose this life. I understand. Also, I'm gonna check my system settings. Let me see. Oh, let's do borderless, actually. I think that's gonna be better for my... Oh, what do you call it? I think it's gonna be better for me. It should be good. I think that should help with the... I spoke too soon. I was trying to like kind of stop it from doing the frame drop so much, but it's being a little funky fresh. It's being a little funky. You just realized your character's barefoot reminds me of a clip I saw where someone didn't realize for the longest time that their character got corrupted, had a weird name, and changed the default male preset. It's crazy how you don't think about it, especially if you're streaming. You just kind of like, don't think about it. You don't think about it. Don't we all know why? No, Josie Tosie, no, no. Let's see, set a limit to frame rate in order to improve frame pacing. Uncapped will generate as many frames as your hardware is capable of. Ooh. Let's maybe like not have unlimited. Let's not have uncapped. I feel like that's killing my, I think that's killing it. Could be. Don't know. Don't know. Let's see. I will keep, actually, let me see. Yeah, I was like, let's bump that down just a smidge. Nah, we keep it high. Keep it high. Struggle bus. Let's see. Well, that seems to have helped a bit. Oh, I spoke too soon. I spoke too soon. But I like the high. I like the high. Oh my lord, this poor horse. But yeah, I know how that is, where you're just playing a game and it kind of takes you a minute to realize that shit's changed in your game. That is weird though. It does seem more common today. Okay. 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 This is gonna drive me crazy. You know what? We'll bump it down. We'll bump it down. We'll bump it down. Even though I don't want to. We'll bump it down and see how that works. Because I hope it doesn't make it like, if I don't notice too much of a difference, then we should be fine. Okay. Oh, what is that movement? Oh. Looks fine, I think. Doesn't look like a graphical difference. It doesn't look like I'm in a PS1 game, so that's good. Because that's what I always get worried about when you lower the graphics and all of a sudden it looks like you're in like some silly PlayStation 1 game. As someone that had to lower settings cope, game still looks great. Yeah. What am I hearing? Did I hear a bear? What the fuck did I hear? Because I can definitely tell it's just trying to render frames when I go into new segments. Like, what do you call it? Like, chunks, kind of, sort of. Like in Minecraft. But it looks like it might be kind of better now. Yeah. Normally I don't have to lower it from high as of late, but this is kind of it is, my PC has been acting a little funky recently. I think what I probably need to do is because I've been working on a lot of projects, and I think I probably could clear out my PC a bit better. Oh, hey. What's up, bud? I probably just need to go through and clear my PC a little bit. So I probably got a lot of extra baggage I could get rid of. Yeah, because see, when I'm fighting and stuff, it's fine. I don't know. Silver bow. Oh, what bow do I currently have, actually? What bow do I have currently? Steel. I have better. Mine's better, you stupid skeleton. I'll take your arrows, though. Funnily enough, I did that to Helldivers. All the settings are set to the lowest, and then I found a shader that truly makes it look like a PS1 or PS2 game, which I don't mind, because it also helps with frame rate. True. It's like, if I'm gonna make it, if it's gonna have to look like, if it's gonna have to look like that, then, you know, at least go the full thing. Full sell it. Full sell it. Let's see. Wouldn't surprise me if they use chunks. I know there was a problem with Starfield not loading stuff very well, and I think it uses the same engine as Skyrim. Probably. Like, a lot of these remakes are kind of using the same engines, which is understandable. Like, it's not a bad engine by any means, but yeah. 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 Oh, whoa. What is this? We're gonna... Can I move? I want to bring you inside so I don't risk you getting attacked by random ongoers. What is this? You have no hands. Let's zoom out a little bit. This looks promising. What do we got? Whoa, money! Why do people gotta be dumb at work, bro? Like, just pretend to be smart for 10 minutes. I have to interact with you. Ah, crazy. It do be like that. There are multiple levels of intelligence on this planet. Let's see. Was that it? Was that it? Okay. Well, at least we got gold. I guess that's not terrible. Ultimate Cope. I can't make it look good, so I'll install a mod so I can claim it's an aesthetic choice. Yeah, exactly. There we go. Let's get out of here. Can you leap? Bro, wouldn't it be crazy if I couldn't get out? Wouldn't that be wild if I couldn't get out? There you go. There you go. All right. All right. Well, it seems like we haven't had, it's gotten less framey, so, and it still looks, well, see, I should just not say anything. I shouldn't say anything. They just ignore it. We just ignore it. Pretend it's not there, chat. It's like the elephant in the room. We don't acknowledge it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. But, so, oh my God, as you beat up my PC. I'm just kidding. Thank you, Tiger, for the drop kick. My PC needs it. Needs to wake up. What always gets me is people not wanting to look dumb or incompetent. Like, it's fine if you don't know everything. True! It's like, it's okay. It's okay. It's all right. There's a lot of things I don't know. And I'm fine admitting that. I'm fine admitting that. That is life. I don't think there's anyone on this planet that knows everything. Like, I can understand maybe in some circumstances you don't want to be caught, quote unquote, with your pants down and maybe not know something that maybe you should know. But at the same time, like, if you're not being held to the standard to know whatever that thing is, it's okay to be unknowledgeable. Oh, okay. Get down. You come to me. Come here. Come here. Ow. You fought me first. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, as he slides. Why do you have a fork? Why does the wolf have a fork? It's an aesthetic choice, I swear. It's not my PC. I tell you, I swear to God. I swear to God. I mean, it's like people who play, what is it? Isn't there like an Elden, not an Elden Ring, what is it called? Isn't there a Bloodborne mod, or there's like a modded version of Bloodborne that looks like you're on like a PS1 version or something? This thing's gonna just keep following me. So we might as well kill it. Okay. He made my horse blue. Oh, one of them Elden Rings. Bloodborne cart, that's it. There's a D-Master too. Yeah, I was like, wasn't there like a thing that somebody made? Or it's like not fully done. I hate when people try to act like they know my weapon system. Like, you don't know what it, you don't know it. That's why I'm here. That's funny. Yeah, the D-Master. Just because they don't wear clothes doesn't mean they don't have manners. True. Hello. Of course. Can you not?
Yeah, the best you can do.
Oh my lord. And of course. Leave my fucking shit alone! Oh my lord. Now I have to fight 3 people at once. Why does everyone go for my horse? Come here. Come here. Stop chasing my shit. Leave my horse alone! My horse did nothing to you! I don't care if my apparel's broken. I will literally fight a motherfucker. I don't care. I will murder. I will unalive you so quickly, bro. Get. Sheesh. What is people's problem? The New Master is a fan project where they remade parts of the game and had it look like a PS1 game. Ah, okay, so I was right, yeah. Truth, I've met plenty of well-mannered naked people. I'm so sorry, McHorsey. I'm so sorry. I don't know why everybody wants to come for you today. That's crazy. Oh my god, that running. What is this running? What was that? Why do I look like I'm Naruto running? Why do I look like I'm Naruto running? What is this? Is that the uphill run? That looks so fucking... What is this? What? That is a choice. Okay. All right. My poor horse. Sheesh. This is why I try to ride the uphill. Because I assumed there'd be less creatures here trying to attack me, but clearly I was wrong. Oh my... Speaking of the freaking animals. Oh my lord. I hate these wolves. Can you just... What is with all y'all? Sheesh. Goodness gracious. Okay. We're just trying to get to the one place, man. Look, it's Naruto himself. I'm just trying to get here. That's it. I'm just trying to get to Crowhaven, man. That's all I'm trying to do. Believe it. Believe it. Sexy no jutsu. Did you all actually watch Naruto? Who is your favorite character in Naruto? So I can judge you. Who is your favorite Naruto character? There's only one right answer. Not again. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Oh, wow. He's already dead. I got you, horse. Neji! 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 What a choice. I never did and never will watch Naruto. What's wrong with Naruto? What's wrong with Naruto? Shikamaru's alright. Oh my lord, I'm literally just like, oh, this game was thinking about it. I'm like clearing off this wolf population one by one. I wish they'd stop coming for my horse, man. We will go right here. My favorite's gotta be Gara, and if I'm wrong, that's fine. Nah, Gara's kinda Scythian stone. What do you do? The hero's fate is known when the hero's fame has grown. Okay. Okay. Alright. So I can't do anything. I was like, what is this? Okay. I can't do anything. Hinata was my favorite. Hinata's okay. She's fine. Don't judge me. Shippuden did enough to me already. Fair. Very fair. Ooh, I see Shiny. Let's go to Shiny. I heard Jiraiya was a peak character. Jiraiya, brother. Y'all discussing Naruto without me. Well, I mean... I'm just kidding. So, the right answer... The right answer, for those of you who didn't give the right answer. The best character is Rock Lee. The best and only answer is Rock Lee. Who are you fishing for? Tsunade? No. Rock Lee. I loved Rock Lee from day one. Like literally, episode 1, I have loved him forever. I was like, that is best boy right there. I knew he was truly best boy material and no one could tell me otherwise. Which is funny because most people assume that I would have liked Sasuke. And I was like, bro, that little emo shit? Nah, fam. He was fine, I guess. But he kind of annoyed me more than anything. We're gonna go with this deer over here. Oh. Can you... Ah! Why? Why? What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, leave it alone! Leave it alone! Leave it alone. Horse, come back. Come to me. Come to me. Come to me. I haven't gotten around to watching it, so I'm actually innocent. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Rackley, the only true hard work overcoming talent character. Yep. I'm ignoring Boruto forever though. What the fuck? That Boruto bullshit? Nah, man. We ignore that. That didn't exist. Wait, didn't I go in here? Haven't I been in here before? I don't know. I don't know, maybe. But yeah, Rock Lee is up there. But my answer is still Naruto for all the shit he goes through. Bruh, Naruto is like, I mean, but he's like the protagonist. What the hell? How do I fight a ghost? Huh? How do I fight a ghost? What? How am I? How? What? 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 Where is the logic in that? Ectoplasm? Huh? Huh? How do you fight a ghost? How do you... Okay. Sure. Sure. We'll go with that. What do I... Don't I have a... What is this? What is this? I don't know what this is. I don't remember how to find this. I don't remember how to see that. Isn't it? Oh, it's in magic, isn't it? Let's see. Just kill the ghost. 5. Yeah, just stab the ethereal being that's supposed to be not stabbable. Boruto seemed promising for the first few chapters until the moral became, no, don't cheat with ninja tools. And he pulled anime protag powers out of his butt. I mean, that's literally every shonen, like, at some point. You either live to see it, you know, it either stays good or like it dies good, or you live long enough for it to become cringe. And unfortunately, that's what Boruto ended up becoming. And hello, Napoleon, welcome in. I come back and people mentioning Naruto. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, Naruto is a hardworking and good father, not no goddamn deadbeat. I mean, yeah, he's definitely a father. I don't know if good's a proper word, but yeah, I mean, I feel like he's a father, yeah. Where's the logic in that? Josie said, in a world full of magic, elves, and portals to hell opening all over the land. I mean, true. Magic or silver. I think Oblivion still had that requirement. Maybe. That's why I ignore it. Did many characters dirty? They did. Magic. Some tab about active effects. That's what I was like, something in here. Yeah, I figured as much. So it's a fortify magic. Okay, gotcha. Oh, that's right, because I went to the thing. That big old cavern thing. Not cavern. Oh. I went to the well. That's right. Also, there's like something in my eye and it is like killing me. I thought it'd be those dang kids moment where everyone looked down on this new tech, but Boruto accepted it and became stronger, smarter. Nah, cheating! True. Hell, I hear it does Boruto himself bad. Yeah, it's all just bad. It's just bad. Unfortunately. Hello. Goodbye. Okay, so maybe I didn't go to this one. I could have sworn I went to this one. We're gonna switch to bow right now. Where you at? Come back, buddy. Where are you? Where are ya? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Hello? Hello? Where did you go? Come back. I want to kill you. Oh, hi. So he was coming for me. Okay. Okay, I don't think this is, I don't think that's working. I don't think that's working. So we're gonna go back to the katana. We're gonna go back to this. Let's see, before anyone says it, Josie, scrolls. Scrolls? What do you mean? Scrolls about what? Scrolls about who? Let's see, He is there for the kids is what I mean. Yeah, him doing dad things is up for question, but I refuse to believe he isn't there as much as he could be for the kids. Like, anyway, sorry, fanfic rambling. Nah, you're fine. I think it's funny. I think it's phony. Hi, bud. Okay. I think I was using something different, I guess. Or maybe I wasn't. I had something that looked like it had writing on it. Was it the Iron Claymore? You cannot change one. I'm not attacking! What do you mean? It wasn't that. I guess it was. Weird. Huh. Interesting. Could have sworn it had writing on it before. Maybe it didn't. Maybe it was the sheath that I was, or the hilt that I was thinking of. Possibly. Steel shield. What do I have? What am I currently using? Shield of True Horn. 108 and 14. 108, 14. Okay, same thing. Gotcha. I've never liked media where skeletons are serious enemies. I have always just wanted someone to just push them over. I mean, you still can. Yes, still can. It's just a little bit harder to do. That's for sure. Okay, we are good. Fine. Sorry for being late, but good afternoon, madam. You are a fine tooth. Welcome in. Oh, hi. Yeah, these skeletons look like intimidating. Until I knock them over like that. Oh, that's right. We can take those things. Oh. Ooh. Nice. I can take you. I just gotta get up there somehow. How do I get up there? I can't grip you. I can't get up there. I wish I could double jump. Let me do the Mario jump where you can like wall jump. Damn it. How do I get it? I can get that though. Oh, hello. Let's see. They should only be a danger if there's like 40 of them at once. Yeah. Damn, the knight helmet fits you well. Thank you, Napoleon. I appreciate that. I love the no clip of hair behind the helmet. Very Bethesda. Yeah. Exactly. It's true. I felt it suited the, you know, the scuff that is Bethesda. The features. Hello. Hello? It like senses me, but it's like doesn't sense me. There you are. Ow. Okay. How are these skeletons able to hold up steel shields? That doesn't make any sense to me, but okay. I get what Darth means. With no muscles, it's all magic making the weapon swing with any force. At that point, why not just float weapon? Yeah, floating weapon. Luigi supremacy, you can double jump. As the great man once said, it just works. It just does the thing. Can I take you? Let me take you, please. Can I take it? Can I take it? Can I take it? Let me take it. Why can't I? Fine. Poor guy's trying his best. This cavern always was confusing. It is a cavern. It is a thing. Come at me. Come at me, come at me, come at me. Man. So aggressive with literal like jelly body. Delicate. Fragile. Dwarven I'm pretty sure I have this. Dwarven battle axe. Or did I get rid of it? I have a dwarven mace. Close enough. Can I take you? Why can't I take you? Okay. Can I take this? Damn it. Oh, there we go. Got it. Just gotta... There we go. Just gotta get the right jump mechanic. I could have sworn you could have taken this one too, but I guess not. No, I should be able to take this one. There we go. Okay, so I just have to get on this thing, maybe. Wait. There we go. Let's go. Stealing shit. Jizzy hitting a top tier yoink at the apex of the jump. Yeah. It's like in Minecraft. You got to be able to like jump and place stuff down at the same time. Or jump and grab at the same time. What's in there? Oh, another spectral creature. Okay. I'm sorry, Mint. I'm sorry, Mint Phantom. I'm killing your friends. Oh. My... Huh? What do you mean my attack has no effect? Why did it affect the other one? What do you mean? What do you mean? I don't use magic. What do you mean? It was a different weapon. Was it? Was it? Was it? What was I attacking with? They don't have a defining feature. They can't be related to Mint. Was it a magic weapon? Fire damage on strike. Let me look at what I have here. Screw it. We'll try this. We're gonna try this. Whoa, I could not see. There we go. Whatever, that worked. Whatever. That worked. We'll take ectoplasm. When in doubt, get the really, really, really heavy fire hammer and just beat the shit out of it. There we go. Silver short sword, if I remember correctly. Oh, we'll have to try that next time then. We'll try that one if we find another ghostly being. But see, anytime I see a ghost, I'm just like, it's just, you know. It's oh. Oh. Okay. I'm not good at these. Let me see. There's an auto attempt? What? Oh, never mind. I think it's so weird you can use your, like, you can just move your mouse. That's so funny. You got it. Easy peasy. No, I don't. No, I don't. Sadly. I wish I did. I wish I did. See? I'm just bad at these. Every time I feel like I get them, I'm just not. There we go. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. And all it is gold. That's okay. That's okay. At least we got it. Got him. Easy peasy. I'm here to easy something. Okay, so I can only open this from the other side. Gotcha. Everything can be a big hammer if you hit them hard enough. Very true. Very true. It's all on your mental on it. What is this area? Is there anything in here? No. Literally just catacombs with nothing? Really? Catacombs with nothing? Man. Whoa! Hello, ghost. Let's see. Alright, so now we do have to switch. We're gonna try this silver short sword, because I'm kind of curious. Okay. What do you mean I'm not attacking? I'm not attacking! I'm not attacking! This game. There. We'll try this one. Oh, that does work! Okay, huh. Interesting. Interesting. I wonder why this works, but the other one doesn't. Whatever. We take it. We take it. There are a few ways to cheese it if you're interested. Otherwise, you'll find them eventually. Ah, curious? Silver. Ah, I see. And Uncle Wall. Hello. Nice helmet, madame. Thank you. Thank you. I felt we should probably have some better coverage. Oh, hello. Because we are dealing with ghosts today. Sorry, Mint Phantom, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. No! Not another one. What do you mean? I hate these. I hate these so much. Gotta protect the noggin. There's not a whole lot going up there sometimes. There we go. Dwarven? Ooh, that sounds cool. We might be encumbered from it, but maybe not. I don't know. Let's see. Dwarven short sword. Ooh, this does better than our silver short sword, though. I wonder if the dwarven short sword will do damage. Fly away, ghosty. Go back to your haunted cornfield. What the fuck? Still strutting strong. Let me see. We might keep it because we're not encumbered yet. So, only one way to find out. Oh, man, Miss Phantom. We will switch to... My hand looks ghostly. Looks fancy, though. Okay, so we've got the stuff. We gotta take these. Because I will find somebody to buy them for me. Button? Oh, nothing. Okay. I keep thinking I hear something. Eh? Huh? Why would I want to close it? What? This is a big room. Why am I encumbered? Looks at the 50 wheels of cheese. But cheese is good for you. Oh, hello. Hi. Hello. 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 There we go. What did you have? Nothing. Man, it's gotta be Friday. Everyone in their loud ass cars is out today. It is definitely Friday. Everyone's letting everyone know that they're free. You can hear them across the street. Down like the state too. Potion of sorcery. Weak potion of might. Sure, why not? Barehanded works. Wait, oh, barehanded works. I see. Ghosts require magic, silver, daedric, or enchanted weapons. Also barehanded. Oh. So I can fisticuff him? Let's go. They can catch my E for everyone hands. No! Oh my lord. There. Lord. Well, at least I got a lockpick out of it. So the lockpick I wasted, I got back. So I guess that's not terrible. Please don't let it be. Oh no! Why? Woo Friday. Wiki says hand to hand journeyman combat. Oh, something monk. Unless you need levels and fist. That sounds funny to say, and I'm not gonna say it because that's gonna get me clipped. Are you for real? Are you so real? Oh my god. This is probably my least favorite thing ever. I hate it. I give up. Screw it. I don't care anymore. I hate them so much. I hate them so much, man. It's so funny. It's so funny. Because I think, yeah, we came from there. So is there another door? There's this door. What about over here? Nothing? Nothing. Okay. Gotcha. Let's go over here. Oh, no. Nope. Demos, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Let's see. Would you like to get the skeleton key? Sure. Why not? Man, oh man. Something dark side. Okay. You need level 50 plus and hand-to-hand to damage ghosts. So you gotta be strong as fuck to go fisticufting with.
You wish to know the darkest of secrets
Christ!
to trivialize lockpicking. All you have to do is shake a poor sinner's hand.
That scared the fuck out of me! Harbinger! Holy balls, it scared me. And also, I was like, shake a poor sinner's hand. Isn't that from, like, Princess and the Frog? Isn't that a Princess and the Frog quote? Oh my lord, that scared me. I can throw you a link to the guide. Yeah, if it doesn't bug me, it should be fine. It is. I was like, wait. Wait a minute. That's Facilier. I was like, that's the dude. I watch way too many Disney movies. I'm sorry. You could probably quote anything and I'll know where it came from. At least the older Disney movies. But nice. I approve of that. B25 hit me. Oh no, it's okay. It's okay. Harbinger coming in like a wrecking ball. He is something. Whew, that scared me. That scared me. Okay. I guess I got everything that was accessible. Okay. I guess we skedaddle. Oh, I do have updates, so I should probably... Updates. I have upgrades, so I should probably find a bed soon to go sleepies. One sec, I'll post a pic. Yeah! Thank you! I guess we're good. Other than that one that's like literally directly in the center, which probably had maybe something good in there, but I just don't want to use all my lockpicks. I don't want to use all my lockpicks for it. Okay. Okay. Granted, I have no idea about any of what they're talking about, so... Nah, you're fine. I mean, hey, I'll take anything. I always take guys at this point. So why not? Getting a little bit of guidance from the air quote experts. Why not? Time to go kill someone for a place to sleep. A bug to get max lockpicking. Yeah. Let's see this. Oh, I like how. Wait, whoa. I like how I started to read one message and then I read the end of the other, bro. Time to go in there. If there is no empty beds, of course. There's skeleton key, alteration magic, and apparently a bug to get max lockpicking. I need that. I need the bug to get max lockpicking. Thank you for Battleship head pets. Let's get the fuck out of here. We go this way. Because it's still nighttime. Because apparently time doesn't pass whenever you're in a room. Or in a thing. It's thinking again. Thank you for hydrate and stretch. Thank you. Actually, I'll stop for a second. I just don't want to get attacked by creatures. Oh, they're gonna attack me. The Gold Coast. Hey, yo. It's California. Hello. Come here, bitch.
I'll hack you to pieces.
Red Academy.
Come here, you.
I'll hack you to pieces.
Got one.
This is the part where you fall down and bleed to...
Be quiet. Be quiet. You see it. Something like being in the lockpick menu, moving to the far right with irrelevant tumblers and mashing for a while. Skeleton key is more fun, to be honest. While potentially being an hour. Oh god, I've never done it. Oh lord. That sounds entertaining, but let me see, how heavy are these? That's not that bad. That's not that bad. I stole their beds. Come here, horse. Come here, horse. I'm not a woman. I'm a man. I'm not a man. I'm a broom. I'm not a broom. I'm a horse. Or whatever that Family Guy quote is. Bed. I will sleep for 2 hours. Bruh. Why y'all drop kicking each other? They're always trying to drop kick each other. Me hiding Goldship's vitamins in her food and then hiding her vitamins and then she activates radar mode. She knows what you're doing. Horse kicked into slumber. Go the fuck to sleep. That was to knock you out for sleep. Ah, right. True. Instead of telling me to go to sleep, you just fucking knock me out into a coma. Cool. Cool. I love coma sleeps. That's always great. But the thought was there. The thought was there. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Oh, my cat has awoken. Good morning, sir. Oh, never mind. He laid back down. Never mind. Never mind. He just got up to shift. Okay. So let's see. What are the attributes we will focus on today? Let's see. Can we get blender animation of Goldship dropkicking, but instead of Goldship, it's Josie dropkicking? That'd be great. I would love that. Wait, am I Goldship? Am I gold shit? I guess steroids to turn Goldship into daddy mode, bro. What the fuck? Sheesh. Y'all want daddy mode Goldship? That's scary. I think we will do. I think we will do. Oh my god. Oh my god. Y'all just are so aggressive with you're aggressive with yourselves. So aggressive. Now it's a wake up king. It's like, alright, good morning. Wake the fuck up. Get up. Affects the amount of damage you deal with daggers, short swords.
Radar.
I love her. She's crazy. She refers your amount of damage you deal with daggers, short swords, and bows. Slightly increases your maximum fatigue and defines how quickly you regenerate fatigue. Quickly regenerate magic. I don't care about magic. How fast you move. Increases your maximum health. I don't care about having personality, quote unquote. Let's see. Longswords, claymores, maces, war axes, battle axes, war hammers, and your bare fucking hands. Defines how much you can carry and slightly increases your maximum health. Aha. Right. Right. I love the magic system, but I can't go wrong in all physical strat. Yeah, because I am Norse mythology goddess, so I have to be strong battle woman. Strong battle woman. I think we'll probably do intelligent, or no, we'll probably do strength. We'll probably do I think we'll probably do strength. And then we'll probably do agility and speed. Probably. Yeah, probably. Try to make them even. Because why not? There we go. Now I can move a bit faster. Yeah, look how fast we go. Woo! We zoom in. Let's go. Okay, we don't need the jugs. I don't care about all of that. All right, let's go. Not bad. Not bad. And we gotta go this way. But normally, when it comes to like previous games, I would usually be, actually no. Thinking about it, I mean, sometimes I would pick magic dealers, like long distance, like range kind of thing where, you know, you can fight from the back. But I genuinely do pick kind of the brute force person, you know, just the typical like warrior, soldier, knight type person. Because I guess it just lets me button mash, I guess. What the heck is this? What is this? Or what was this? Honor your body and spirit. Pray at my chapel altars to receive my blessing. Oh. Okay. Cool. I got a thing. Quest updated. I have prayed at the way shrine. Oh! Oh! These things! Oh. Well, that works. Unintentional, but that works. Cool. I forgot all about that. There's like 8 million quests to do. I didn't even think about that. Let's go. We got one of them. How many were there? Like 7 or something? Oh, bear? Oh, wait, there's a house. There is a building. Let's go look at it. Knife moves, magic man. Now check this shit out. Like, I like magic, but at the same time... Oh, are those graves? Those are graves. Uh-oh. Ruh-roh. Somebody. Pretty horse. Pretty horse. Chestnut, so pretty. Do you have anything good out here? Thank you for your food. Shears, doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter to me. Why do you have like all these weird things and stuff out here? Bread. Food. Tobacco? What the hell? Sure. Apparently tobacco restores fatigue. I don't think that's how that normally works, but sure. We'll go with that.
To tempt you towards magic, your mortal stats are capped at 100, but with restoration magic, you can go beyond your limits. Imagine becoming Sonic the Hedgehog running and jumping across Cyrodiil. For real, play the way you choose though. I just wanted to gush. Ooh.
Ooh. Hearing harbingers there. Ooh. I need that in Mass Effect now. Ooh. Ah, please. Please let us control the Citadel. Ooh. Oh my god. Ah, but you're this treasure, you can go beyond your limits. Yeah. That's like, normally I would do like magic. Normally. Ooh. Ooh. That was the deepest ooh I've ever heard. It was great. The goated oohs. Restoration spells have magic has spells that absorb fatigue, health, or magic, temporarily transferring them to you. Man, all about that restoration magic, apparently. That's crazy. Even the game's trying to be like, hello.
What? What's new with you?
They say that King Helseth has made an alliance with House Dress.
Oh.
Together they pick apart the carcass of ruined Indoril.
Oh.
Morrowind has always been a troubling place. It seems it is more so now.
Mm.
Good
What is
day.
it?
What's up,
What
Kiara?
do you want?
I'm just talking to you, bitch.
Where to
Chill.
buy weapons? Where to buy anything, if you can afford to travel, is the market district in the Imperial City.
Og. Damn.
Take care.
So, I swear, their dynamic of like, what do you want? And then, hi.
What? What's new with you?
I understand Daedra worship has become increasingly prevalent. in
The
Somerset
random
Isle.
dynamic they have with
It
you.
seems Somerset Isle has become a much more dangerous place.
These people just talk so aggressively and so loudly. But it is as bad as making Hank Hill say la 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 lava chicken. It's all bad. It's all bad. Thankfully, I've never heard that yet. Don't worry about it. You don't want to
Half of
know.
the Council of Mages resigned when Traven took over the position of Archmage. Be seeing you.
Be seeing you.
Bye.
I
Good
can't
day.
look into any of these.
Look at the muscles on you.
Thank you. Okay.
Go ahead, please.
That was okay.
The Colovian Highlands, near the Hammerfell border. No one lives there. That's barren wastelands.
Oh, okay.
Good day.
So weird. What the
Hello
fuck?
there.
Who needs charisma to riz? Like, no one needs that, apparently.
Go ahead, please.
I just exist, apparently. I exist. Sheesh.
The Great Forest was cleared for agriculture around Lake Romara, but it's mostly wilderness outside of that.
His teeth kind of scare me. I'm not the only one, right? Don't he has like kind of really big teeth? Like kind of like horse teeth?
Are you interested? It's only 10 gold for the night.
His teeth scare me.
Very well. Let me know if you change your mind.
They're so big.
Take
Why
care.
are your teeth so big? I don't like it. I don't like it. It's weird. Okay, there's nothing I can really grab here.
I'm listening. Please, go ahead.
Can I go in these rooms? Wooden door, wooden door. Oh, they're all hard. Rah! Never mind. It is scary. Let's do it.
You've got my ear. Let's hear it.
Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here with the scary horse teeth man. But yeah, they're the NPC be thirsty. It is true. Like some of these NPCs are interesting. Very interesting. He's the progenitor of Uma Musume. No! No! Poor Umas. At least I don't want it to be a person that scary. They seemed well enough, nice, you know, but okay. There we go.
That's no good.
That's no good. They can't kill me if I get on the horse, right? There's nobody out here, right? No one would know, right? No one would know. Surely, yeah. I'll be nice. I won't take the horse. Granted, I like my horse. She means well. She's a bit slower than the others, but doesn't make her any less special. Is that a little tent over here? It is a tent over here. Huh? Uh-oh. This doesn't look good. This doesn't look good. Is there anybody? I don't see anybody. I thought someone was going to attack me. Guess not. Oh. I think they might be dead. I think they might be dead. Oops. Let's see. With the bugs all over the place. Ugh! Can you not? Ew, gross. Can I open this? Thank you. Bruh. Gold and wolf pelts. Okay, well, at least I got gold out of it. I mean, the gold is useful. I wish it'd been something more than that, but that's okay. Okay, we're so close. I want to at least do the Grey Prince quest. So that way we can go back and do more bloodsport. Oh, and there's a wolf. Leave me alone, please. Leave me alone, please. Leave me alone, please. I want nothing to do with you. Okay. Fine. Sheesh. Every time. Did your character... Oh, wait. Is your character female? Is that historically correct? Functional armor? Probably. But yes, I am a female character. What the hell? Oh, I was like, what is happening? What? Heavy armor mastery increased. Oh, okay. As a journeyman of heavy armor, your plate mail is now damaged at a lower rate. Oh, well, that's good, I guess. Cool. Can you come here? Ow, bro, that took so much out of me. What the hell? Sheesh, why did that take so much? Why did that take so much out of me? Tried finding the Hank Hill clip, which Twitch made clip searching easier. I wish to. I'm so sorry, horse. I'm so sorry, McHorsey. I don't know why they come for you so frequently. I need to eat something. Where is... And then cheese. Resist poison. I thought I maybe had something for health, but I don't think I do. Fortify health. There we go. Restore strength. Cool. That should help a bit. Okay. Timberwolf, I guess we know what we shout when it falls. Bruh. Timber. Ah! Why? Where are you? Yeah, stop. What are you running for? What are you running for? What are you running for? Coward. You started things. If you didn't want to fight... Ah! Hi. If you didn't want to fight, you shouldn't have brought it up. Ow. Have at thee. Oh, I'm actually taking damage. Oh, I'm taking damage from a skeleton. Bruh. The skeletons hate me. I know! What is happening? But I am in Crowhaven, so I am in the place that I'm told to go. Let me see. I need restore health. I need a lot of things. Million. Restore personality. I don't think I can restore that. I think I'm too far gone on that front. Restore endurance. Plasma, cup. I don't want to damage my willpower. After you beat them, they become skeletal. Damn. Just gotta munch on that raw mutton. Just nom 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 nom. Where's that mutton? Where's that mutton? Alright, we got that. Orange. Potate. Everything's just fatigue. Everything is fatigue. Give me something that restores my health. Do I have a... There we go. There. At least that's something. That's better than nothing. It'll generate on its own. There we go. All right, McHorsey, you stay there. We're gonna look around first. Whoa, look at him swing it. Look at him swing that freaking shale. Look at him go. Look at me go. Man, that's crazy. Jesus Christ, why are you flinging the shield like that? Can you not fling the shield? God. You're gonna, like, beat somebody. You're gonna, like, whack yourself with that. Hello. Gold. The rattling bog energy. Maybe he likes throwing things. Maybe she do. Maybe she do, but still, holy. Oh, hurt somebody. Damn, this music sounds more epic than it should be for just nothing. Like, I'm just in here and like, listen how epic this is. This is like so deep and like monumentous. And I'm just running like this in a freaking, you know, dilapidated ruins. Hello, Saku. Welcome in. All right, I guess we go inside to Crowhaven. Is there anybody here? How goes the Oblivion? We are obliviating. We are obliviating. Origin of the Great Prince. I've entered Crowhaven. Somewhere inside, I will unlock the truth that Agnarak Gromal. Oh my god, these names. Azeroth Metreon Synthos. Agnarak Gromalug is searching for. I should be cautious. However, the fort has long since lost its noble trappings, and the presence of evil is unmistakable. Evil, 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 evil. Okay, we'll Teen Titans ref. Yes, yes. When there's trouble, you know who to call. Teen Titans. I love that show. It was great. From their tower, they can see it all. It was a good show. There's evil on the attack. Hello, wolves. We'll rest now and they got your back. Whoa, and there's multiples. Just when the world is in. Ah! Hey, 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 hey. Bish, bish, bish. Whoa. Okay. All right. Actually, let me check something because I think I had a repair tool. I think my shield needs to be repaired. I think my shield needs to be repaired. Where is my... Where is it? Don't I have it in here? Or is it in here? I think it's in here. My repair tool. Where are you? Where are you? Repair hammer. Okay. Looks like we found our next cover. I personally fight like a wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man. They're great though. Every time we touch AMV of Robin Starfire flashbang, my memories. I love Robin. I always liked Robin. Shieldo. Where is my shield? Is my shield not damaged? I thought my shield had taken some damage. I guess not. Okay. Never mind. Never mind, it did not. All right. I gotta go back to... Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Where are you? Where are you? And I'm so sorry. I cannot speak, cannot dream tonight. There you are. We'll do... What's like... Yeah, that's like nothing. One of my comfort videos is when they all dress like Robin. That one was pretty good. That one was good. Oh, that was all it did, bruh. Okay. Well. I definitely need to get more. I need to buy some more. Or find some more. I was finding a lot more a while ago. Steel bow, silver arrow. Let's see, anything around me. I love Teen Titans. That new show that they had, they had the why can't I word today? Had the audacity to have anything to do with Teen Titans makes my blood boil. Oh, Teen Titans Go. Yeah. What's funny though, is there was actually an episode where they kind of like broke the fourth wall and like kind of made fun of themselves. Oh, okay. Well, guys, I guess I hit him. I'm sorry. I just don't want to fight you. I just don't want to fight you. I'll take my arrows back. Teen Titan Go. Ranges from literal garbage to surprising peak. Wide variety they've been allowed. Yeah. Like, it's interesting. I mean, is it as good as the original Teen Titans? Absolutely not. I'm sorry. I will never think that it is. But I have definitely heard that it's had its pretty good moments. But it is definitely no normal Teen Titans. Robin and what's her name? Oh my gosh, I can't remember her name right now. The girl, the blonde girl who comes in towards the end, who becomes really, really close with Beast Boy. Tara, yes, because I was like, I know her name resembled like ground, and I couldn't remember what it was, and I was like, what is it? There was like a pun in her name that deals with like ground, and it made sense. I loved Tara. A lot of people hated on Tara, and I loved Tara. I will always love Tara. Tara was misunderstood, man. Like, they didn't give nearly enough time for her backstory to really be explained properly, in my opinion. In my opinion. Ah! God damn it! Stupid wolf scared me. Luckily, I spammed my right click. Oh, I like Tara. The ending of the show was so bittersweet. Yeah, same. Shame. Even if you do a few self-deprecating jokes about your own show, doesn't make it good. Yeah, I mean, it's clear that they knew. Like, I think they were kind of stuck from, what is it, the network. I'm pretty sure the network wanted, they were doing what the network wanted them to do, but it doesn't mean they liked it, you know? Well, I mean, I'm not saying that they disliked it, but I definitely think that they wanted to do more serious stuff like the original, but I heard there was like a lot of issues with having that get restarted and all that jazz, which is unfortunate. Oh. Bones. She got done dirty, ending her arc like 2/3 of the way. Yeah. Kind of smelled like studio mandates. Yeah. That's why I was like, I feel like the those episodes where they kind of poke fun at themselves is like the only way they could really kind of like speak their mind freely, but not freely. Sometimes the network can be very overbearing on its writers. Yeah, they're like, no, we want children content. Make goo goo gaga jokes. Make pee pee poo poo jokes. That's what the children want. And they're like, are you sure about that? It's like, yes, we know. We know what the kids want. Hello? 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 Why does it have fight music? There's nothing here. Oh, there's something in here. Oh. Oh. Do you see its base? Do you see it? What the heck? It's in the door. It's the Timberwolf door. Ooh, goo goo gaga, baby door. Ooh, woo, woo. What the fuck? I was so confused. I was like, why is there thing? And it's just in the door. Oh my god, this fucking game. I love this game and all of its stuff. It's so good. This door opens only when teas are offered. When treats are offered. True. Best boy wanted treats. Oh, he is back. Can I get him? Can I get him through the door? Oh, I can't get him through the door. Okay, fine. Come on. Oh, come on now. Well, come on now. He heard the T word. He did. He's like, where's my treats? Ah, woo woo. Well, too bad. That's what you get for attacking me. Taking Timberwolf. Right? He became the Timber. The truest of Timberwolves. It's like you're not a real Timberwolf if you're not actually, you know, part of the timber. Chainmail boots. No, I think mine are better. Here, I think it came also around the start of kids having like a 5 millisecond attention span. Probably. There are definitely a lot of pee pee poo poo jokes in like every generation, but yeah. I feel like, wait, needs a key. Oh. Oh. But yeah, I definitely feel like.
Who's there?
Nobody's there. Nobody's there. Don't mind me. Nothing but us. Rocks. Teen Titans Go launched like 7 years later, so yeah. Like I remember I used to watch diligently for Teen Titans, and then like they just kind of. Oh. Hello. Hello. He has no shirt. Hi. Hello. Lord Leviticus. I'm sorry, Leviticus. You must go. Actually, I'm gonna switch my weapons. Oh, I can't. Ah! Because you can't change weapons mid-fight. Can you... Ah! Ooh, I don't like how you sound when you do that. I don't like how he sounds when he does that. That voice actor literally screams. I don't wanna fist fight him. I need this. I need this. There. I need to do more damage. What is your problem, man? I don't like you. What a name. Leviticus? I know, right? Bye. Bye. Ooh, what did you have? Elven dagger. Ooh, silver amulet. Sure, don't mind if wait, vampire. Wait a minute. Is he a vampire? Is he a vampire? Wait. Did I just come across vampiric people? Vampire? I will take the elven dagger though. My Little Pony was doing great, showing you can treat friends with some decency, and as I understand it, they still went on to boil things down a bit. Yeah. The only Goo baby I'll accept is with Super Creek when she becomes the URI champion. The Goo baby! Oh my fucking god. To their credit, My Little Pony might have exploded in that time. Yeah. After Teen Titans ended. Yeah. Let me see. I think they misinterpreted it heavily to chibi kitty stuff is selling. You mean to tell me Lord Leviticus was a vampire? Apparently. Seems so. Maybe I'm just a sucker for a lot of the old Cartoon Network shows. No, I'm right there with you. That or he just likes dirt. I guess, or he likes vampire dirt. It is very possible. He might. He just might. That is a dirty rug. What do we got in here? Letter. I was heartbroken when you rejected me. Tell me what I can do to win your heart. I will slay trolls, walk through thorns, fast for a week. Please don't shut me out of your life. I love you more than a flower needs sunshine. You're... Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Biography of whatever. No, I'm good. Jewelry books. Why are there just random weights here? I wish I had more than one lockpick. Mages Guild Charter. Next. See, I mean, there's probably an element of overhyping with nostalgia, but things do hold up. There's a lot of good shows from old school Cartoon Network that were just good. Like, they were good for a reason. Don't need these. Speaking of vampire, have you seen recent talks about why vampires can't see their shadow? Because mirror in ancient times used silver lining, while modern mirrors use aluminium. So are you trying to say that there are possibly more vampires among us and we just don't know it now because our modern technology have denied us the skills to know when they are among us? That's what I'm taking from that, is that there is possible vampires among us and we just don't know it. Let me see, what do we got in here? Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Apple bread. Lord Leviticus! Lord Leviticus! Pure and sublime, that is the only way to accurately describe my love. The maiden Groma. Oh, okay. Wait, what the hell? Wait, hold on. We're actually, you know what? We're gonna actually read this. I'm gonna read this quickly. So there are possibly. You can see their shadow now since modern mirrors show their shadow. No. Let's see. True, the orcs of Tamriel are often vilified by the other citizens of the Empire, and rarely would they be considered a pleasure to look upon. So is my maiden, looked of a rare breed of orc, unlike the rest of her kin in physical appearance. Nay, in fact, she is the perfect representative of her race. Green skin, muscular frame, and all. But beautiful she is, all the same. Aw. For who am I to judge? Who am I to criticize when so many would condemn my very existence? I can only hope my love is as understanding when she learns of my unique condition, for I have yet to reveal that most precious of secrets. She is a vampira! Vampira! He has to be. Entry 2. Let's see. Is that like also tied into the vampires have to be welcomed into the home if silver was used for doorknobs or something? Maybe. Damn the politics of my station, taxation and trade negotiations, and meetings with disingenuous aristocrats. It's sometimes enough to make me regret my birthright altogether. I've spent the latter half of my life hiding my identity, guarding my secret, but now I am faced with an even greater challenge. For if word were to get out that I have fallen in love with a servant, and an orc no less, I would be all but ruined. Such is the life of a were they called Shirodilic? Was it Shiro? Cryo? As a vampire lover. That sounds like an anime title if I've ever heard one. Let me put some chapstick on real quick. If I cover my fist with garlic, Let's see. Curse me for a coward. But I have not yet found the strength to tell my beloved Luktov the truth. Perhaps it's for the best. For what benefit is there in her knowing? She would share all of my fears, but none of my abilities. Her life would become one of doubt and uncertainty. Still, if she is to spend her remaining mortal days with me, she has the right to know. Joy and exaltation. She is with child. My beloved Luktov is carrying my child. The midwives predict a boy, and we have already settled on the name Agronach. In truth, I never realized such miracles were even possible, but the divines have granted us their blessing, and so shall it be. I must wonder, of course, if my dear child will share in my dark gift. Only time will tell. Tonight, the truth will be revealed. I will tell my beloved Luktov everything. She will know who and what I am, and we will decide how best to raise the precious child that grows in her. Oh no, she got left behind. Betrayal, foul and loathsome harlot. Damn! Oh no! How dare Luktov question my motives, question the love I have for my own unborn child when she learned the truth that I, the Lord Leviticus, am no longer human, that I have walked Tamriel as a vampire for the past 200 years. I was right! He's a vampira! He is literally Edward Cullen! Oh my god, how quickly she judged me! So I am a monster, am I? Perhaps I should have proven her right. Perhaps I should have drained her dry when I had the chance. But I loved her as deeply as a man has ever loved a woman, and I wanted nothing more than to bring our baby into this world and embrace my new role as father. Perhaps when Luktov has come to her senses, for she refuses to come out of her room, we can have rational discourse about our future. I do not, however, retain much hope. Oh, entry 7. Imprisoned in my own home. While I slept, Luktov locked me in my own private chambers. She called to me through the doors, told me of her plan to escape with our unborn child. She means to keep my baby from me. When I get free, I will find the traitorous whore and rip the child from her. 2 weeks have passed since Luktov locked me in my quarters. Try as I might, I cannot free myself. I cannot breach the doors. If I don't feed soon, I feel I will go mad. Yes, he kind of went mad. I think he went mad. Yeah. Wait, so how did she lock him in though? Is it one of those things where it's like the whole can't enter a home without being allowed in or something? Like, did she put some kind of vampire magic? I don't know. Damn, that's so sad. Can I take it? Can I take it? Take. I'm taking that with me. With the key Agronaut gave you. I've discovered the journal of the Lord Leviticus. It does indeed contain information about Agronaut Gromalog's birth, but proves he was the spawn of a vampire. Agronaut won't be happy to hear this, but it is the proof he wanted. I must take the journal to him at the... Yeah, I was like, I had a feeling that taking the journal was going to be important. I definitely felt like it was going to be important. What the key Agronaut gave you? Maybe, yeah, I guess maybe they did. But I guess I would have figured, like, if it was just a key, I don't know. Like, I guess I would assume a person would be able to, like, bust down the door at some point. But I don't know. Maybe, I mean, those doors are pretty thick with, like, 5 Cs. So it's very possible it's, like, a big-ass door. So it is possible. Okay. Oh, chest. I'll take that. Man, that's unfortunate. Did you just call the door thick? I did. Well, you see how these doors back then were? It's not like doors of modern day where it's like, you know, plywood, you know, that like it looks solid, but like it's hollow on the inside. Whereas this door was like, they would cut the damn tree down and then just like cut the wood in the shape of a door frame and just put it in with a freaking piece of metal so they could open it with a door handle. Like, these doors were big. They thick. See, like, look how thick this door is. Shit. Actually, I think this is metal. Yeah, it's like thick and metal. It's wooden with the metal. That shit crazy. All natural. Yeah, all natural. Man, that's crazy. That makes so much sense now. Okay. I've got a couple questions, actually. This begs the question to me. So this was his chambers, right? These were his personal chambers, right? So how did you not think he was a vampire when, one, he's living in a cave, and two, he's got coffins everywhere? How would you not add 2 and 2 together? How? You're like, oh, what, honey, why are there coffins in here? Oh, it's for aesthetics. It's aesthetics. No, ignore the bones inside. They're not real. They're not real. Like, how did you not guess? How did you not know? How would you not figure this out? Maybe by personal chambers, this was his hidey hole? I don't know, man. That seems a little crazy to me that you know a man enough to get pregante with them, but you don't know what their man cave looks like. I don't know. Maybe he originally lived in a home and managed to escape in the catacombs. I don't know. Based on the book, it definitely seems like she was pretty. It sounded like she knew of this area, but who? Maybe. Very, very possible. And there's something in my eye. But yeah, it is possible. Maybe he just got really lucky and she just never knew. But that's crazy. What a wild turn of events that you find out that your human husband is actually not human at all. What the hell? Whoa, hello. Hello, ghost. Ayo. Whoa, what is that? Whoa, was that it? Wait, whoa! What is happening in here? Whoa, you are a vampire! There's more of you in here! Oh, there's more of you in here. You have contracted what? What did I just contract? Did they just give me vampire diseases? What? Hold on. What in the hell? What in the hell? What? Hemophilia? Isn't hemo dealing with blood? Isn't that a blood disorder? Blood disease? Of some kind? It is indeed. Yeah, isn't hemo like hemoglobin? I don't like that you teleport! I don't like that you teleport! Can you move? Okay, y'all are kind of pissing me off. What is happening? Ah! I don't like this place. Oh my god, and there's a timber wolf. Okay. Hold on. We gotta magic. Let's do. Where are my spells? Where are my spells? Where are my spells? Where are my spells? Potion of health. Healing. Might. There we go. The magic tab. Yeah, here we go. Oh. This works. Oh my lord. Get out of here! I just have to keep filing them in one at a time. So I can focus one at a time. Get out of here. Alright, now I have to switch items for you. Because you aren't taking any damage from my Katarina katana. We'll do the dwarven short sword. Kiting. Huh? Wait. Okay, apparently that doesn't work. What? Alright, let's try the burning one. Can I not? Hello? Oh, okay, apparently it's registering me as attacking still. Okay. Kiting, I'm trying. Yeah, you got vampire AIDS. Sorry, bud. I was like thinking this. I was like, did I just get vampire AIDS? What did I just get? What the heck? Let me go back over here. Do I have something that I could heal myself with? Drain strength. No, I don't want that. I don't want that. Healing. There. Let's try this. Ah, that works. When in doubt, just burn it. That works. Let's go. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Take your ancient ectoplasm. What do you got? Vampire Crusader. I don't know what their dust can do, but I'll take it. Highwayman shirt, steel cuirass, steel greaves. Okay, what is actually my stuff right now? 180, 35. Is it the same thing? Oh, I could take yours. It's really the same thing, right? It's basically the same thing. It's just not broken, right? Isn't that really what I could do instead of trying to fix the ones I currently have? Just literally swap, right? That's a strat, right? Yours is broken right now, so might as well. Yeah, it's the same thing. Fuck this thing. Get out of here. Get out of here. What else you got? Steel greaves. What are my greaves right now? Blade greaves. 49 for 21. Let me take here. Let me see. Blade greaves. Ooh, they are the same. We will take those. Get out of here. Okay. 1727. Why am I using this? I have these. What am I even doing? What am I even doing? Boots and pants. What are your... Oh, I thought he had no pants on. I was like, uh-oh. Oh. 96, 2, and 9. 96, 2, and 9. We might take those. We might take those. The mittens of might. The kitten mittens. Oh, we see. 36, 210. Yeah, I think these might be better. Plus, they're less in weight. Yes, yes. Cool. Get the fuck out of here. Always sunny. Yeah, kitten mittens. That's great. Owning a cat, I feel like kitten mittens becomes like pretty commonplace. Okay, so we'll go back this way. Is this something I can open? No, it is not. Okay. They are not. But there is a chest here. Dedication. Restore willpower. Oh, yes. Yes. I have willpower. Let's see. Dedication. Restore willpower. Sure. Yeah, I like willpower. Brain power. Hello, Quack. Welcome in. Howdy, howdy. Ah. What the hell? I heard something, but I don't know what. Because that was when I went to there. There's probably another creature in here. Oh, it's only you guys. Oh, okay. Come at thee. He's not shooting arrows. Okay. You know what? Funnel to me. Funnel to me. Funnel to me. Funnel to me. Make this easier on me. Come here. But welcome in, Clock. Hopefully you are doing well today. There we go. Get the heck out of there. Whoa. We don't block. We just attack. Just force it. There we go. That it? Okay. No other vampire creatures? Dwarven bow. Actually, let me take a look. Let me take a look. 96, 7, 14. Oh, hold on. Dwarven bow, steel bow. Let's see. Oh, that's actually better. Get out of here, steel bow. Get out of here. Okay, cool. Anything else? Nope. Okay. Not bad, not bad. We'll take it. Oh, if I could walk up a flight of stairs correctly. Now, the middle path should just be looking over everything without stairs. Yep. No! There we go. I don't want mort flesh. Bruh. Okay. Well, I'll take the money. But we use all of our things for that. Oh, thank God. The other one doesn't make me. Thank you. Thank you, game. Bless. Okay. I guess that's it for Lord Leviticus. Okay. We done. We donezo. Man, I hate to be the bearer of news that the guy has to find out that his dad was a vampire. And wasn't he like a I say a nobleman, but wasn't his father a nobleman as well? Is that like saying all noblemen are vampires? What's the worst that'll happen? Ethel.
Ethel. Bleh.
True. Very true. Let's see. Let's get out of here. Watch me not be going the right way. Or maybe I am going the right way. I am. I don't like how it sounds like there's whispers in here. I don't like it in here. Yeah, I don't like it in here. I don't like it in here. He assumed his father was a noble because his mom told him she worked for one and left abruptly. Ah, maybe. Yeah, it could be like, you know, the whole parenting thing where they make your parents sound better than they were to try and, you know, make you feel better. Or so you don't know. You shouldn't utter that phrase unless you are fully prepared to face the consequences. That all noblemen are vampires? I said what I said. Welcome in, Olive. Hello. It's Dead Space all over again. It kind of is. Kind of is, huh? Can't trust anyone. Can't trust anyone around here these days. Okay. Now we should be able to go back to whatchamacallit. Now I can go back to the Imperial City. The Imperial City. Was that water? It is water, unfortunately. Because I finished drinking my rainstorm, and so it is water time. Unfortunately. I may have to grab more water, though. Soon. Oh, wait. I don't have to... I can... wait a minute. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? I have fast travel. What's wrong with me? What is wrong with me? I can literally fast travel. I can literally fast travel. What's wrong with me? Thought it was an immersion kind of day. Yeah. I mean, we could. And normally I do, but that's so far. We already traveled like 2,000... Hello, Floor. We already traveled like 2,000 whatever. I guess you could say miles, whatever the measuring tool is for distance in this game. We already traveled 2,000 of them. Let's see. Do you want the long version or the short version? Sure. All versions. Both. I don't know what you are doing. What are you doing, silly? I don't know. Bro, he looks...
All citizens are welcome in the Imperial Palace, at least on the first 2 floors.
I could stab him, but I won't. Do the measurements come in bananas for scale? People have the loudest cars. I swear. I swear. Holy. I think the only thing that I will probably enjoy is if I ever have to switch to streaming later hours. I'm pretty sure it'll be nice and quiet. I'm kind of looking forward to that. That car sounds really clean. So clean. So clean. Let's see. Long version, we will be here for 2 additional hours. Short version, a metric fuck ton. Yeah. Yeah. Sounds accurate. No, you see, that's when all loud cars come out. Sometimes, yeah. That you're not wrong sometimes. There are definitely times where it'll be nice and quiet, and then all of a sudden, like 3 a.m., it's just like... I'm just like, okay. Okay. You chose to come out now, sir. I mean, I guess they thought, you know, it's like, well, they do have to traverse. The loud cars do have to get from point A to point B at some point. But I feel like if your car is audible from like the next state over, you might want to get that looked at. Or find a new form of transportation. Hello. Hello. I have some news for you. Most of them are night owls, true. Later streaming hours mean I am more of a nocturnal owl than I already am.
You've returned. So, have you been to Crowhaven? Have you... What's this? The Journal of Lord Leviticus? My friend, you've done it. This is wonderful news. The words of Lord Leviticus himself. Perfect.
Oh no.
I believe I owe you something, eh? Here, let me show you these moves. Step like this. Now strike. All right, now parry. That's it. There you are. Some of the best combat moves you'll ever learn. You'll need them if you want to last more than 5 seconds against me in the arena.
Okay.
Now, let's see what this journal says.
Oh no.
Interesting.
But
wait. Can this be? But by Shinji.
By Shinji.
I'm the son of a vampire.
Shinji.
I'm no gray prince. I'm the spawn of evil.
Aww.
I thought my father was a nobleman, not some blood-sucking monster. I can't... all a lie. A lie.
Aww. Aww. I wish I didn't tell him. I feel bad. But it sounds so cool, don't you know? Now strike. Stands there. Now parry. Stands. I know. I'm like, man, I'm learning so much. I feel so bad.
The journal. My father's journal. It says I'm part vampire. I thought my father was a nobleman, not some blood-sucking monster. My whole life has been nothing but a lie. I'm no gray prince. I'm a vile, wretched spawn of evil. Please leave me. I can't...
Was there a way that I could have, like, not given him that news, honestly? Like, I feel like I feel bad. Was there a way around this? I hate that. Now I feel bad. He was so positive. And I killed his positivity.
Oh, hey there.
Oh,
nice
hey.
To make your acquaintance. Well, my name's not important, really. I'm a combatant in the arena. Gladiator rank.
Interesting. Feels bad, man. It does. Get in the Leviticus, dad robot. Shinji. I know, right? We got fucking Shinji. Bruh.
Who is Gaiden Shinji? Are you serious? Gaiden Shinji was the first arena blade master. It was he who oversaw construction of the arena back in the first era. The arena was his dream.
His dream.
To this day, an arena combatant lives by Shinji's credo. The best techniques are passed on by the survivors. To be the best, learn from the best. Ironically,
fair.
Shinji himself was killed shortly after the arena was completed. Even he could not survive the 30-year siege of Orsinium.
Fair. Shake my head. You broke him. I'm sorry. I mean, I guess that's what I'm supposed to do. I want my future car to be like the Formula 1 cars, electric to get to track, gas when it's time to race. Fair. Fair. Yeah. The consequences of our actions. Time to Google the quest. I'm like, no, I feel bad. I'll be guiding Shinji into the robot if he doesn't get his ass in there. Right? It's true. True.
Farewell, my friend. May your blade always strike true and first.
True. Very, very true. The ransom of Zarek. What the hell? Sure. Hello. Pork chop. Legit dough. What was the quest name? It was completed. Origin of the Grey Prince. I feel bad. So I was supposed to get the knowledge, but now I feel like I just like... I feel like I got the knowledge to win by like breaking him emotionally. I mean, we gave him what he asked for, but like, I feel bad. I feel bad. I don't want to do bloodsport just yet. I do want to go try and sell some things. Maybe his mood will improve. He was so ready to rub everyone's nose. I mean, I don't know if he was gonna do that, but I think he was like, just wanting to justify it for himself. But man, how would you, like, I feel so bad. Like, wouldn't that suck if you were always told from birth that your parent was a nobleman? And you're like, oh, so proud of it. And then you just find out that wasn't true at all. God, that would kind of suck. That would take the wind out of my sails too. It's like, oh, your parent tells you, oh, your parent is like this amazing like hero, and then you find out, oh, nah, your parent was actually like a murderer. I'd be like, what the fuck? What the hell? I've been praising you for no reason. Oh my God. What is going on in California on a Friday? Apparently everybody's getting in accidents. See? It's not the cops. It's the emergency people. Man, people need to stop driving like crazy people. That's just crazy. So the Grey Prince, that's the only legit ending. Damn. So he's just kind of screwed no matter what. Unfortunate.
You have my ear. You're off duty now.
Another day, another septum.
Another day, another septum. Call an ambulance, but not for me. True. My life mantra. With how his mother reacted, he was probably raised super anti-vampire, yeah. Bro! Sheesh! Okay! Someone got into an accident. Goodness gracious. Oops. My bad. Wait, there's nobody here! How would they know? How would they know? Maybe it's biker gang season, who knows? Good thing I killed him before he found out about his parents and my playthrough. God damn. I mean, there was an explosion at an LA Sheriff County facility. Oh. Luckily, I don't live near that, but who knows? Yeah, it could be biker gang season. Maybe those loud cars kept getting into accidents. Wouldn't be so surprising. Wouldn't be surprised. The ignorance is bliss ending. Yeah. Ignorance is bliss to the point of he's just dead. Full ignorance by death. You'll never know your parents were terrible if you're dead. You'll never know anything anymore. Don't worry.
My ear, citizen.
Okay, we want to hopefully try and sell some things. Maybe. Shay, what we got? What do we got here? The main ingredient. What? Why? Is it because it's getting dark out? Is it because it's getting dark out? Well, that's kind of annoying. Okay, I guess we'll go to sleep then. Because we can't do anything until it's daytime.
Greetings.
Hello.
Allow me to extend my congratulations on your daring victory.
What?
I am at your service.
I
have everything you need to make the place more livable.
What?
Here, take this list.
What? My victory? Battlehorn Castle upgrades list. What? What victory? From the bloodsport? Is that?
By all accounts, he preaches that the attack on Anvil Chapel is an omen of some kind of coming doom. You should go to Anvil and hear him for yourself if you're interested.
I've been there.
They say he preaches outside the chapel every day, rain or shine.
I've heard.
Venetia Milicea takes all the merchant complaints in the city.
See, hey, he at least died honorably in the arena thinking. Yeah, that's true. You think you're in a bad area, Josie? On my island alone, the amount of traffic-related accidents is more than 5 times the amount last year. Yeah. Sheesh. I mean, I came from Florida, so I mean, not that that's really much better, but I definitely don't know.
What's this about?
I don't know the comparison, but still bad. It's all bad, but that does suck. That sounds no good. I want a bed.
I do have a bed available for 20 gold a night. Would you like to rent it?
Why is it 20? Why not 10? Why not 10?
I do have a bed available for 20 gold a night.
Florida woman stories must go hard. It's
very good.
It's different back home, I'll say. And it depends on what part of Florida you live in, really. I mean, that's kind of the crazy part, is it's kind of different. You could be in one part of Florida where you have like all the bougie old people where nothing happens. And it's like retiree central. And it's very calm, very quiet. Nothing happens. Or you can be in other parts where you're like, wait, am I in Florida or where am I? Like, what the fuck is happening here? So it just really depends. It's definitely a, you got a lot of different flavors in Florida, that's for sure. I was in Pensacola for a bit. Even the roads where it's saying, bro, there will literally be traffic. I think, okay, I say traffic, but the one thing that I wish Florida would do would be get off its ass, get out of the red tape of shenanigans and backdoor deals they're trying to do with people and finish the road work. Finish your road work. There's literally been road work in Florida that has been like ongoing for decades. Like, bro, please just finish the road. My God, it's so annoying. Oh my God, that's the only thing that pisses me off the most, is that they just can never finish anything. They'll just start so much shit and then it'll just be ongoing for decades. And you'll see it just like not being touched. Like you'll drive past it probably every day for years. And you're like, who's even working on this? Is there anything even being worked on right now? Because there's just, you know, tons of construction stuff and nobody's working on anything, but they're there, but it's there causing so much slowness and it's so annoying. La 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 la. We've been trying to build a rail system from planning since the 70s, apparently. Yeah, I think California's been trying to do that too, so I've heard, or like actual like train systems. And I think they should. I think they should. I'll take the corn, the venison. So I think that'd be a fun way to travel. You know, when you don't feel like driving your own vehicle, but you need to go from one point of the state to the other. Why not? If it stops or if it removes a bit of traffic on the road, hell yeah, fucking do it, please. But of course, we can't have that. Have you seen the Japan sinkhole they recovered from like over a weekend? Bro, I know! I will say, now it's by no means perfect, but I do appreciate the fact that like I can look on like Google Earth and see like, I don't know, say like 2018, there wasn't a building, or like there was like, there, you know, it was like the very, very, the groundwork of a building. And then I zoom forward a couple years in Google Earth in that same place in California, and the building's already made. I'm like, bro, they don't fuck around. They make their shit and they go. It's kind of crazy. So I wish they would do that everywhere else. That'd be nice. Shout outs to the states that put up estimated completion dates on their road mate. Oh, we have them too. That's the fun part. We have them too. They just don't fucking do it. They just don't do it. They just don't do it. It'll literally be like, oh, it should be completed by blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, bitch, we're already years past that. Where are we at? Where are we at? What are we doing? Why is this road still blocked off? Why is this literally this up ramp still not done? Oh, that's right, because you're building all these other buildings downtown that nobody wanted. It's like, rah! Oh my God, Florida, you kill me. They infuriate me so much. It is, no place is perfect. I'll be the first to say, I'm not saying that like any place is better than the other, but I will say that was probably one of the most annoying things of being there is the constant road work for either one, unnecessary things. Like, I swear to God. So one of the other things, and it still participates in this same topic, is because Florida is a constant place of humidity, water, and heat. The amount of like big sinkholes or like, what do you call them? Not sinkholes. Potholes, very large potholes that occur are very, very, very common because we have a lot of like sediment and just like constant rain and humidity and gravel being like rubbed into shit all the time. So we get potholes on the roads all the time. Like I remember there was a food, like a kind of like a shopping center that had like a bunch of restaurants and stuff near where I lived. And there was always this, like the road that you would turn, the little turn in for that particular place. Constantly we get these huge potholes. And what would be so stupid is that they would never get fixed. Like, it would get so bad to where people would literally like pull off on the side of the road and fix it themselves. They would just fill it with stuff like rocks and pebbles and stuff because they would submit stuff to like the like the mayor or whatever, and like what do they call them? Not FDOT, but like the highway patrol people who would like actually have the ability to submit anything for road work on that. And it would just be like weeks, months goes by and nothing would be done. Oh no, then what they would do when it would get so bad, after they would submit it, they would have a police officer and they would just put a fucking like little what is it, the little cone, a traffic cone. They would just put a traffic cone over it. They were just like, well, we're not gonna really fix it, and clearly nothing's gonna get fixed anytime soon, so we'll just cover it. We'll just cover it. FHP, no. FHP would be, that's FHP, but FDOT deals with like road work. And that's why I was like, I don't think they control the actual like issues with the road when it comes to like minor things. But there's usually like a team that works with FDOT, I think, that does road work, but I can't think what it's called. But yeah, FHP is more of like the highway patrol. That's the people you don't want to get pulled over by. That is someone you do not want to get pulled over by. They will actually write you up. I zoned out to Josie Ran. I'm Joey. California don't fuck around when it comes to building stuff. True, except fixing and building roads. Yeah. Where I live in New Jersey, they've had plans to build a sports complex for like 10 plus years. And funnily enough, when I was in Cub Scouts, my group went to the mayor's office and he showed us I'm not even talking to you, bitch. I'm standing here. Leave me alone. My group went and he showed us the plans again somewhere around 10 years ago. They've only just gotten to structural supports. Well, yeah, like a sports center, that makes sense. That's like not a road. That's not like, I feel like a sports center is important, sure, like for kind of like quality of life for the state or the city, because that gives you stuff to do. But like a road that's already started, like don't start it if you aren't ready to work on it. But like Florida, they start too many things and then never finish any of them. They're like the ADHD people who start open world games like World of Warcraft and then finish nothing. They start like every little quest they can possibly think of and then finish nothing. Drives me crazy. See, yeah, the traffic cone is an IOU, but roadwork. Yeah, pretty much. That's Florida in a nutshell. You have roadwork issues, just put a traffic cone around it. That stops people from running into it, but they don't have to actually use money to fix it. Unless it's Californian monorail, then you won't see it for years. Yeah. Hopefully one day. But yeah, that is you just don't go there. Just don't go there. Florida can be great, but I guess like a lot of places, it's great to visit, but not to live there. So it's kind of annoying. That is my end rant on Florida. Florida is a time. Don't worry, if I ever go back to visit, chat, I will
What can I do for you?
I will show you places.
An intriguing fellow from what I've heard. A cut above the usual street corner rabble-rouser. He's the talk of Anvil, apparently.
Apparently. What do you have?
Yes?
Oh, I don't want that. I thought you were selling things. I thought you were selling.
Farewell.
Oh, you're not selling things?
Good afternoon.
Then what is this place?
Rajirad greets you. His
Hi.
brothers are Hasiri and Urjabi.
Hi.
The Black Horse Courier is our Imperial News Service, chartered by the Elder Council.
Huh. Okay.
You see Khajiit always running to the city? You see Rajirad and his brothers. We bring the Black Horse Courier to the good citizens, yes?
Do you sell? No, you do not. New guild for fighters. You have anything to buy? Can I buy anything from you? What do you got up here? Nothing. I do not want to upset the Khajiit. I do not want to upset them. Let's see. It reminds me of a train tunnel here in Hong Kong where it legit is an underwater tunnel connecting the two halves of Hong Kong, and it took them 20 years. Hey, at least it got done. At least it got done. If you, for those who may not be aware of it, chat, there is a infamous building in the state of Florida near the city of Orlando. If you Google unfinished building Orlando, I'm pretty sure you'll find it. There is a building that started being made. I'm pretty positive before I was even born. And yeah, it's basically got abandoned for I don't know how many decades. I think it just now someone purchased it recently. I think the I4 eyesore. Yes, literally Google it. I4 eyesore. It is literally infamously known that it typically this is Florida in a nutshell. Florida in a nutshell. That building looks ominous, and it's been there forever, unfinished, just there, looming ominously to passersby. They can't fix roads nowadays, and like years back during World War II, they literally fixed the Yorktown with a plank of wood in less than 72 hours. Yeah, I mean, we have vehicles, unfortunately. Can't really just go, you know, sticking something on it and just calling it a day, but still. As of November 2024, there's no planned completion date. See, that's what I'm saying! They'll literally just be like, I don't know. It's just there. It's just there. The Majesty building, it's majestic, all right. Meanwhile, the California monorail has yet to lay down a single track, and it's been 17 years. But from what I've heard, the monorail it's not because they don't want to. I feel like if I remember correctly, there's a lot of back and forth debates on it, and like some people don't want it or they don't want to put the money to it, and like I think there's a lot of bigger issues, like a lot of red tape behind that, unfortunately.
I'm waiting.
You sound so angry.
What can I interest you in?
Imagine it lasts long enough to become historically protected. It probably will be. Honestly, it probably will be. Oh, it's so cringe. As someone who has lived here my entire life, Caltrans runs on its own schedule. Compare that to the ghost cities in China with vegetation growing out of buildings, cause of unmaintained wall guard. Yeah, it's when nature regains control, when nature T-poses on us. Pretty much. Sorry. I was going into what is that dog? The meme? See? Man, okay, Friday's crazy, bro. Yep, that is definitely not cops. That is definitely ambulance. I hear the beeper beeper. I'm like, yep, that's ambulance. Let's see, I could imagine those doors from Oblivion could support a car if you drove over them. Yeah, we don't make wood like that anymore. You see, the I-4 eyesore is a historic heritage site for Florida. It represented our culture for generations. It kind of does. Set it and forget it. The mantra of Florida. Dog of wisdom. What is thy wisdom? Ba, 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 ba. I love that dog. That's all we need to do with the potholes. Just put a plank, just put some teak over it. Put teak wood. Big old plot of wood. That is what you do with the red tape. You put it in the trash. Anyone that's trying to fight it, put them in the trash. Agreed. Agreed, Mighty Mo. Fuck that red tape bullshit. Make me my monorail. Give me my monorail. If we can have a monorail in Disney World, we can have a monorail in California. Give me my monorail. I just don't want to have to drive everywhere. Let's see. I want to shell. What can you give this for? How many? How much are you going to give me? Show details. How much are you going to sell it for? How much are you going to buy it from me? Sell for 504. Is that good? Is that good? Hold on. 21. What did I have it in my inventory? What did I have it in my inventory? Let me see. What did I have it for? Bum 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 bum. I think it might be in here. 50. I'm kind of getting lowballed. There.
To you.
Shut up.
Make it quick.
Oh, hush. Looking Markiplier looking ass.
Dull Groshug always seems at ease in light armor.
Whoa.
He moves well in it.
I thought he was speaking gibberish at first. I was like, wait, what the fuck is he saying? What?
Dull Groshug always seems at ease in light armor.
That's crazy.
He moves well in it.
That's wild. Set it and forget it could be the motto for the Claymore. True. I'm so surprised America doesn't have a cross-continent bullet train. That's literally so many states have been trying. So many states, especially California, have been trying. But no one wants to. Or they're just like, oh, there's a lot of other things we need to spend money on, which I'm not going to get into. But it's like, you know, we could, but no, we can't have that. That's too... I honestly think it's because it hinders on car sales. And, you know, we don't want to hinder vehicle sales. Because we can't have that. Amtrak has never had a single year in the black. They rely on bailouts. We did have an Amtrak back home. I will say we did have that. Not many people used it. It was more for like... I mean, I remember when I was in 8th grade, we used the Amtrak train to go from Florida to... I want to say it was Washington, D.C., so I do know like schools use it for trips and stuff, and it's more for like big groups, but I do not believe individuals really use them too much these days, unfortunately. But they should. But also the Amtrak is not the cleanest train, but you know, it's fine. I guess it's like any public form of transportation. It's not really going to be like as clean as your own car. But you know, imagine the Eurostar or something in America. That'd be crazy. Like several high-speed trains in different states, and you'll see a higher use of public transport. Oh yeah, there's so many people who can't or don't want to have individual cars, or it doesn't make sense for them, you know, for like the hours they work or the type of city or state they live in. Like, but we can't take money away from car sales. We can't do that. I feel like set and forget it applied to infrastructure is like Floridian equivalent to Chicago way. Our officials at all levels are amazing. Yeah, are amazing. Yeah. They lowball you until you basically max out mercantile to be. Oh, damn it. I wish they wouldn't lowball me. But I guess we'll have to max out our merchantness. Kelly basically is trying to make a high-speed train across the state, and they're failing spectacularly. Yeah, I do know there's a lot of issues with that. I say issues, but it's like there's a lot of people trying to not make it happen, which is weird, but I don't know why, but whatever. Texas has been working towards getting a Shinkansen, but the project might have been doomed by Amtrak taking over the project, but then not getting a federal grant for the project. There's all kinds of shenanigans happening. It's unfortunate. Why do that when jets exist? Yes, let me go fly a jet from my home to like the target 10 minutes away. That'd be crazy. I mean, considering I'll use a driver's license for ID purposes and not an ID, but I digress. I know. There's a lot of things that are kind of like, okay, sure. I like trains. I do like trains. You should see our freight rail. Say it, Boeing. Damn. Multi-mile long freight trains with double stack containers. Brought to you by Cheney Couplers. They've actually been getting some new cars, and they are very nice. It depends on what line you're on. Fair. Very true. This was also a long time ago when I was in like 8th grade, so, you know. Yeah, actually, hold on a second. I want to see something. Hold on a second. The restoration of the other guys, expedite completion of everything. Oh, okay, cool. Nice. It looks like back home they're trying to accelerate restoration of the Everglades and expedite the completion of the Everglades agricultural area reservoir. Well, good. There we go. Sorry, I got a notification on my phone, so I was curious. Anytime I hear something from back home, I'm like, what shenanigans is happening now? But it's actually good. Okay, good. Oh, let's see, Josie. A high-speed bullet train wouldn't get you from your home to your target either. It could, though. It wouldn't, but it could, though. I mean, Taylor Swift basically uses a jet to get down the street to Starbucks. I mean, but that's Taylor Swift. I'm not a Swiftie. Don't get me wrong. Recently, I've been riding the ones I used to ride when I was in 8th grade, too. Yeah. I have not been on that since 8th grade. So, what's happening down in the Wild West Wonderland of Florida today? Yeah, thank God. That's the one thing that, if you've never been to Florida, that is one thing I think a lot of people don't realize, is that a lot of the state is Everglades. Like, if you looked on the map, there's a lot of green, like that is just flat out green that no one lives on, because it is like nature reserves and reservoirs, because yeah, there's a lot of nature in Florida that needs to be protected, that unfortunately they should not impede on. So that's the only thing I think, at least for the most part, has been maintained kind of well. I say kind of, but it's not perfect, but they at least, some are trying their best to maintain the nature we have there. If she could, Taylor would take a jet to get to her jet. I mean, if you had all the money in the world and you could use a jet on the regular to fly some places, I mean, I'm pretty sure most people would. Let's see, you're not a Swiftie. It's like a cult, I swear. Yeah, I'm not a Swiftie. No. It's pretty much all Tampa and Miami, right? No, I mean, there's a lot of nature reserves, kind of more, well, a little bit more north of Tampa as well. But yeah, a lot of it is more mid-state, definitely below, like more south of Tampa and north of Miami. But yeah. You're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. Most of it is in the middle of the state. But there is more smaller like clumps of it up north. But yeah, the big reserves are definitely middle of the state for sure. Very true. But yeah, I was actually positive. You know, it's like the first bit of positive news I've fucking seen come from back home for a long time. So I'm like, oh yay! Thank God, something nice for once. Sheesh. I'm thinking about probably going back. I might try. I don't know. It depends on pricing and everything. But I was thinking about probably going back to Florida Maybe during the holidays, but we'll see how much it costs. We'll see how much it costs. That would produce a lot more emissions, consume more fuel. Yeah. I said, or before you buy / sell, did you haggle? Yeah, I was gonna haggle. I wanna haggle. I wanna haggle schmaggle. Can I persuade?
Say what you're going to say.
Say what you're gonna say.
Oh, for me? Oh, you shouldn't have.
What the fuck? Oh, for me. What was that? What was that tone? That was wild.
Have a look around.
That's crazy.
You won't find better prices in all Tamriel.
That's crazy. That's so funny, bro. For me, the change of tone. Amtrak to Florida. I could, but I literally might get COVID if I do that. I'd prefer not to. Hamloff Red Tooth. We could. Buying item at 176% of value. So, sure. Don't think that did anything. I don't think that did anything. Yeah, I don't think that's doing much of anything. So I'm definitely not, Can I, like... Can we go, like, right here, maybe? It takes 42 hours to Amtrak from St. Louis to Alameda. Ugh. That's so long. I mean, it took me, what, 4 days to drive from Florida to California? So, I mean... But I also didn't really do any detours, and I did minimal rest. The U.S. rail network does leave less traffic on the road. It just focuses on commercial long-haul trucks rather than personal. Yes. Yes. True. Let me show you. Oh. Hey. Okay. There we go. There we go. Can I haggle a little bit more? Can we haggle a little bit more? Is that going to risk? Are we going to risk? We need to take a risk? Woo! Woo! Okay. 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 Huh? Oh, oh, oh. The only risk is they dislike you. Ooh, I don't care. Give me more. I don't know. I went up like 10. Ooh. I don't know if I should risk it anymore. I feel like if I do it again, I feel like I'm going to get in trouble. The disposition's still good though. Wait, if they start to dislike me, Ein, would my disposition go down? Or would I just not know until I try? Oh no. So it'll go down. Like if they start to dislike me, I'll see it go down. Okay. The relatively low speed of the bulk of the US's rail network helps those long freight trains by easing maintenance. True. Until you try, it doesn't show if they will accept the percentage. Okay. Let's see. Sorry, I'm getting hungry with power. I'm getting hungry with power. Haggle. More. 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 Wah! We're getting more! More! Haggle! Can we do it? We're going! We keep going! Oh, no. Yes. Haggle. It's still 40. Oh! Yes! I think you're going to be very disappointed and soon. I don't know. We're almost at the end of the bar. I'm so close. We're so close. This is the very end. We got all the way to the end. Woo! Baby. All right, we take it. Give me.
I can't make that deal.
No, why were you speaking honesty? Why? Oh no! Oh no! No! Can you buy half of them? Can you buy half of them?
You don't expect me to make that deal, do you?
Yes, I do! Alright, well, okay, how about half then? Actually, hold on. Let's go up to like 30, 32. How about that? How about that?
I can't do that.
Oh, come on! What the fuck? What do you mean? You cheapskate, bitch.
I can't afford to do that.
Bruh. Flew too close to the sun. Why? Why? How about 25? Can we do 25? Can we do 25? 25?
That's no good.
That's no good. 600? Okay. That's better, I guess. Sure. Whatever. Sure. Whatever. That's so dumb. That's so dumb. God damn. Okay. Maybe if you play the friendship minigame. Heck nah. Screw, I don't want to be their friend. Will they buy? Let's see. Can you use the Varla stones for anything? Can you use these for anything? I'm trying to think. Like the emeralds and the sapphires. You use them for anything? Use them for anything? Looks like you have a headband reading. I do. Fuck, I missed it. Shit. My bad. Thank you. Thank you for headpads. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I see. 3 minutes ago. Sorry, Baron. My bad. My bad. Thank you, though. Ah, they recharge enchanted gear. I see. Also, hold on 1 second, chat. Give me like 5 seconds. I want to turn on my AC because it's getting kind of toasty in here. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Ads popped up, so I thought it happened when I was in jail. Ah, nah, you fine. Perfect timing then. So that worked out. Okay. Whew. Got a little toasty in here. All right. But so they recharge enchanted gear. So I guess it's probably best I don't sell the sapphires and all that shit. Okay. West, where, I don't know what that is. Let's see. Oh, you do not buy weapons. Okay. I think I was literally getting these to just sell them anyway, so I honestly could probably just sell them. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got these to sell them.
That's more than I'd usually pay.
Uh-huh. Varla stones recharge gear. I believe normal gems are just sale fodder. Oh, I see. Gotcha. Okay, cool. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for the clarification. So good. So the sapphires and the emeraldes I can sell. Cool. Get the hell out of here.
That's a fair deal.
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of my inventory. Unburden me. Gold nugget. Sure. Let's say no. I am unencumbered. Why do I have a weight? Why do I have a weight? Why the hell do I have that? Why do I have a weight? When did I buy? When did I grab a weight? The heck? Okay. Anyway, what do you have? Do you have blue? Oh my god. Blue suede shoes. Oh my gosh. It's Elvish shoes. Crazy. Crazy. What else we got? Spectre ring. What do you do? Feather on self chameleon on self fortify. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. I'm not using that. I'm not using that.
I appreciate your business.
Yeah, thank you for your money.
Farewell.
Okay, I want to try and find I'm gonna head off now. Y'all enjoy Elder Scrolls. Thank you, Quack. Thank you. We're only gonna stream for probably a little bit longer because we're like 3.5 hours now, so we're getting close to ending 2, but we'll be a little bit longer. But thank you for hanging. I appreciate you. Merchants in fighting chance. What you got in here? I just want to buy some things because I haven't bought stuff in a while. I like all this inventory, but I just don't know what to do with it. Hello.
What can I do for you?
Persuade. Repair.
For the right price, I can make anything good as new.
Repair my shit. Repair my shit, please. Yeah, I'm just gonna have her repair everything. It's just cheaper this way. Silver short sword. Yes. Yes. Oh, I could just repair all. Wait, repair all. Yes. Just do everything. Cool. You're welcome. Train.
There's much I can show you.
1,708. Extra ability to maintain weapons and armor at maximum efficiency. Broken weapons and armor are less effective. 460. Oh wait, hold on. Persuade.
Yes?
Okay. Bribe a little bit. I love a little bribery. A little
May I
bribery.
interest you in some of my fine wares?
Fine wares. Let me see.
You've got a lot to learn.
Nah. Still 460. The alternative is carting around like 30 hammers. Yeah, and I can never find that many. I'll find like a bunch, but then I keep getting into fights and breaking shit, so I never have enough. There we go.
Goodbye.
She does sell them if I remember
Yes?
correctly.
May I interest you in some of my fine
Battle
wares?
axe of hatred. Bruh. Crazy. Oh, we can sell one of these. Because we don't need both of these. I don't need 2 of them.
I can't afford to do that.
What do you mean? Girl. What do you mean? I want... Can I get it to 80? Well, let's do 80. Or not 80. To 60. 62. 4. There. How about now? Okay. 60. All right. Fine. But that's dope. Battle Axe of Hatred. That's so metal, bro. Dope. What else we got? Nothing really, but I can sell the duplicates. I'll keep that silver short sword. I don't need the silver short sword since I have the dwarven. God, that's like two schmeckles. Hell the fuck no. Oh my god, that's so cheap. Get out of here. Get out of here. Oh wait, no, that's 2. That's silver arrow. I'm dumb. Where is short sword? 25. Still 25. That's not anything, but I don't need it, so.
A fine transaction.
It shifted on me. I was like, wait, 2 for a short sword? That's crazy. I was like, god damn, that's crazy. But yeah, we don't need the 2 short swords since I've got the dwarven one. Let me see. claymore, arrow, bow. Okay. I guess we're pretty good. I'm not gonna use this because the current one I have. Oh, that's right. I think I took this with me to sell it. I think. I don't remember. Because it's just about as good as the current one I use. But I think I don't want to use this one because this weighs more. So I think I'm just gonna sell it. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna sell it. We don't really need it. Plus, it looks kind of gross. It looks kind of fucky-wucky. Sure. Do I want this? Not really. It's so much money, though. Why is this so much money? It's pretty good, but that... Yeah, I was like, it's okay. I'm kind of want to fortify endurance on self, fortify strength on self. Will you buy it from me? Hey, that's fine. I'll take it. Yeah, I think it's light armor probably, which we don't need. All right, that's good. That's good.
Tell your friends about me.
Can you...
I can show you some new things.
Train me once more? Sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Farewell.
She gave me money for weapons and I put it back into training. Kind of worked out. I'm trying to at least not have my stuff break so easily. Black Horse Courier. What else we got? The revolving economy. Okay, let's go back in here. What do we got? What did you sell? What do you sell, my guy?
Yes?
What do you sell? Bartering.
Let's do business.
Oh, just random items. A cavalry sunderblade. Oh, a 5,000? 5,000? You gotta be out of your damn mind. You gotta be out of your damn mind. You're crazy.
We'll see.
Nah, that sucker's a I know.
I offer the finest goods and lowest
disintegrate
prices in all
armor,
Cyrodiil.
disintegrate weapon. Like, bruh, that actually sounds so good, but I don't have that. Crap. Yeah, that sucks. Man, I want that, but I don't got 5K.
Bye.
I wish I could just kill you for it. I wish I could just kill you for it. But it's fine. We'll just... I mean, who'd know? The residential popo will know. They always know. The best defense. What do you got? Oh, two. Oh, there's two of you.
The best defense, that's me, Morrow Rufus. Light armor, the very best.
Oh, well, I don't want light armor.
Have a look around. You won't find better prices in all Tamriel.
You do have repair hammers. Oh, I don't need 20 of them, Jesus Christ. I'll take 5, though.
You're a fine negotiator. I appreciate your business.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. What about you?
I'm Bernardo. I handle
There
the
we
heavy
go.
armor at the best defense. I'm also an advanced trainer in heavy armor, so I know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
If there's much I can show you.
Ah, so I've got 3 levels on this. Okay. What do you got? What do you got?
Have a look at my wares. I'm sure there's something to suit you.
Wow, he charges a you can't see it, but he charges a cent more. I paid 18 from the other guy. Steel shield. What do we got? What do I have? 109, 14. Okay, say same thing. Imagine going to the 9 to 5 in full plate. Fuck that. I would never. I would never. Ooh, Aegis of Apollo 11,000. Oh my god. Jesus. Never mind. Sorry.
Be seeing you.
No, you will not. You are so expensive. You will not be seeing me. Too expensive.
What is it now?
Bitch, you in front of me!
What?
Girl, you are so aggro.
Good day.
Okay. Mystic Emporium. They better have a great benefits package. Yeah, fuck that. Imagine the heat you'd put up with. I would just not. What's up, bruh?
What?
Oh, my bad.
Armor, weapons, I have it all. How may I help you?
Nothing really. I'm good.
I'm through talking to you.
So am I. I could kill you, but I won't. I don't think I'll ever get over how, I guess the devs decided to have fed up be the normal tone that the average person gives you. It's kind of crazy to me. Divine elegance. I think I've checked everything that I was gonna look at. Because I'm not a magician. I'm not a magic user. So that does nothing for me. The copious coin purse. I could kill you, but I won't. It's some GTA attitude. But it's true, though. I could.
Welcome to... What kind of deal can I make for you today?
I don't know. What do you have?
Let's do business.
Dwarven arrows. Repair hammer. Nothing really. You really don't have anything that I would need. But thank you anyway.
Goodbye. Please come again.
Okay. Well, at least we didn't spend more money. At least we didn't spend more money. But let me go back to where I can sleep.
Who will help an old beggar?
I've already helped you. I've already given you money, ma'am. Fighting chance, merchants in. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna...
Good to see you.
Yes. I'm gonna come in here. Okay. Okay. Since we don't save, I think we're gonna call it here. We're almost like 4 hours-ish. But I think we're gonna call it here. I did want to do the quest where we at least finished the Grey Prince thing. So we did finish that, which is what I wanted to do. Because that was driving me crazy with how far away it was. And I kept dancing around it because we kept wanting to do the main storyline stuff. But I was like, I want to finish it. I want to finish this and see what the hell happens to this guy. So we at least got that done, which is unfortunate. The news was not what I thought it was going to be. I did not have on my bingo card that a vampire was going to be what he was. But, you know, well, what are you going to do? But it was fun. So we're gonna raid out. I think we're gonna raid Kat because it looks like she's also playing a fun Bethesda game. She's also playing Fallout 4, so we're gonna raid into her. Her and what is it? Dog Meat is the dog. We're gonna go send the love over to them. Yep, the Black Dragon raid is in chat. So that's our raid message, so you can use that when we pop in. Dog Meat, yeah. From jank to jankier, yeah. We love it. My little buddy besides EDE, yeah. I will not be streaming tomorrow, but we will be streaming on Sunday, back for some more chill Minecraft. So it'll be just a chill Sunday. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoy your weekend, and yeah, I will talk to you guys later, and yeah, have a good one, guys. Thank you, goodbye.